What's going on, everybody? I apologize for my lateness. I had a couple things to come up, you all. We are here. I do apologize. I wanted to start at 11:30. I'm out of breath because I'm tired. So I apologize. I apologize, but we are here. Welcome to Scientology Sunday. Because we got to talk about it. Shout out to all of you all that are sending me videos and clips and emails. Obviously, the Scientology topic is one that many people are interested in. And then, of course, S File, shout out to you. Melinda, shout out to you. You guys, let's see here. Sent me over someone. S File sent me over a video clip. Someone who was a former um, Scientology member, and it's hooking a sister up. So we can have a special guest come on. I would love to interview her. Absolutely love to interview her. So we have a few videos that you guys sent me of people who were in Scientology, okay? And they want to share their story. So I want to give them an opportunity to do so. That's what this is all about. It's about, putting people out there who have been a part of this that can share their experiences. Y'all, it's a cult. And they have done some horrible things. I mean, the leader's wife has not been seen in public for almost 30 years. You can't make this up. When Leah Remini has to report your wife's missing, and then you still cannot produce her to the public, that's a problem. That's like, the Oompa Loompa, Umar, failing to show proof of life of his mother. I mean, it's like, what is going on? So I would love to interview. If you guys know people who were in Scientology and they want to speak out, yes, they could come up here. Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see here. I have a couple videos you guys sent me to check out. One of which is from, and I apologize. You guys come on in here, hit that like button. I apologize for being so late. Saint got a membership. Shout out to you, Saint. Shout out to my mods. I have the best mods on YouTube. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And my apologies for my tardiness. I had something to come up and I just had to take care of that right quick. It took longer than I was hoping, but we are here. We are here. And let's see here. Movie King's here. Good morning. How are you? Laura, shout out to my mods, y'all. Laura's also my admin here in StreamYard. So at any time you guys need something immediate, she knows how to come up backstage and let me know and raise a red flag. So shout out to you, Laura. How you doing, honey? To Saint, to all my mods, I appreciate you all. It's me, guys, letting y'all know I was sorry I was running late. I'm so sorry. Something came up. Melinda, what's going on? Hello, y'all. God bless everyone in this Sunday day. Life happens. It's okay. Listen, I hate being late because I don't want people to think that I'm sloppy like that. No, y'all can't stand being late. But I appreciate you all's patience as well. I'm trying to make sure I got all the videos from the emails that you guys sent me to check out. And then Jennifer said something from Jay Witt where he did a debunking. So we can check that out first. He did a debunking video. How long is it? Let's see. Actually, we'll do that at the end because I thought it was a quick YouTube short. It's 22 minutes if that's the same one I'm looking at. I thought it was a quick one. Yeah, it's 22 minutes long. So what I'll do is I'll play this at the end. Shout out to Jay Witt. He was debunking the whole grooming thing with between what Candace was alleging on Erica Kirk, but we'll do that at the end. We do have a video to start off with, though, that was sent over from. Okay, so Saint sent one. The Scientologist effing morons. Saint sent that, y'all. Shout out to Bot. And then we have one from, this is via Suck channel. Oh man, this is a good old video. It's 18 years old. Woo! And then we have one from Liz Gale, where she was kind of debunking what Candace said, Cadence and all, about Scientology not being able to take over if they wanted to. Like they're absolutely doing that in Clearwater. I mean, that's what they're doing in real time. So we all know Cadence says dumb things because she's a dumb alien. But we're gonna check that video out, and then we have some former Scientologists exposes inside secrets video. And then of course y'all remember Jenna Miscavige with the middle finger. That was so epic. I want to get to that, and then of course we got the terrifying cult of Scientology. When I say I wanted to put in some time today to go over some of this information with firsthand accounts from people who were in it, and they are giving their stories and telling people about their experiences. I plan on putting in some hours. All right. So I'm not gonna rush. You guys get your popcorn and wine, Kool-Aid, and everything else you need. We're not rushing. We're gonna take our time with this. Y'all in it for a while, hang out with me. I appreciate it. And then after this, whenever Information Man Show decides to go live, we'll hop on over there. But until then, we're in this. We are in this, and we're gonna be focusing on Scientology here. Kyla sent one too. Did you? What's going on, Yabs? Hey, CC, what's going on? How y'all doing? Y'all hit the like button coming in. Hit the like button coming in. Let's get some music on because that's what we're missing right now. Yeah, I have to have some noise in the background. Oh my goodness. If y'all don't hear noise in the background, y'all need to say, like, what's wrong with Lady Luck Club? She ain't playing no music in the background. It's too quiet. Oh, child, what's going on, Mari? How you doing? Hi, LLC. Good catch yesterday on reviewing the text messages where sender and receiver, same person. Yep. Yep. Child, I always say that. Like, folks be doing some weird stuff here. Cadence always fakes text messages. Umar had the same person calling in. You can't make this stuff up. Boy, they just two grifters just trying to just reach for it. You can't make this up. They do some of the weirdest stuff and they expect people not to notice. It's ridiculous. Kyla sent something. Let's see. Okay. Liz Gale is the one that Kyla sent. So Liz Gale is Kyla's friend. And then let's see. S-Files sent something because she says she can and I don't mind whoever wants to come on to the LLC, and a former Scientology member wants to come on to the LLC to talk about their experiences. We are all ears. You understand? We are here for it. Is that the same one? Is it S-Files? Is it the one that Kyla sent? Liz Gale? Yes. Okay. So the one that S-Files sent is the same one that Kyla sent. That's Liz Gale's video. So we're gonna get to that after we get to, because I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything, especially if it's a former Scientology member. Yeah, I want to make sure I play those. Okay. So I think I got them all. I think I got them all for what we're going to do for today for our Scientology Sunday. So we're going to kick this off with, this was only like 5 minutes from what, shout out to Saint, what she emailed me. It was just a quick, oh, here's a good little, let's see here. Can y'all see that? What's going on with my thing? My view is weird.
Genocide?
Hold on. Yo, this is such an old video. Is it age restricted? I can't expand it. What is going on? Okay, here we go. There we go. So this one here, y'all see the title. Y'all, this video is 18 years old. Oh my God. Oh man, I can't do the song because it's actually it's copyrighted. So let's get to this one here and see what they're talking about here. If it plays music, I have to mute it because I can't have the copyrighted music in mine because YouTube is ridiculous. So all right, let's see. Let's go. Let's see what this is about. Oh God. No. No. Go back. Up.
Live from the seventh layer of hell, it's another edition of You're a Fucking Moron. I'm Slugger, and here's your host, Reginald. Hello, I'm Reginald, and this is another edition of Yappin'. The world is going to hell in a Barbie dream car, and I'm here to point it out. Do you believe in an alien named Xenu, galactic overlords, past lives, and volcanic genocide? If you do, then you're either a 35-year-old male virgin, still living at home, or you're a Scientologist. Claiming to be an actual religion, Scientology was started by L. Ron Hubbard, a crippled science fiction writer, not to be confused with Gene Roddenberry's religion, Trekkies. Scientology and its many churches across the world is in reality a hugely profitable global racket. Hubbard himself said, writing for a penny a word is ridiculous. If a man really wants to make $1 million, the best way would be to start his own religion.
Wow.
Yes, religion. A wonderful concept if only it works.
The fact that he was so bold enough to say that. If a man wants to make $1 million, the best way to go is to start their own religion. You can't make this up. Y'all, how true is that? Let's think about how much money these televangelists make. Okay. Y'all remember the one that said I wanted a $50 million plane? That was just for a plane. $50 million can help a lot of communities and build a lot of homes and help put kids in good schools and stuff. $50 million. No, Creflo Dollar wanted that for a plane. So he could fly around. He wasn't saying, I believe in God for $50 million so that we could build up 100 homes for families to live there for free so they don't have to worry about struggling to pay mortgage. No, he wanted that for a plane. And guess what? Somebody gave him a plane. Can't make this up. Y'all, this guy said, if you want $1 million, you want to become a millionaire, start your own religion. Oh my goodness. So he did this for the money. That ought to let you know his intent. Oh, that's so gross, L. Ron Hubbard.
Man really wants to make $1 million, the best way would be to start his own religion. Yes, religion. A wonderful concept if only it works. Of course, it worked for Hubbard, using it to disguise such illegal activity as money laundering and tax evasion. Keeping away from child molestation was the only thing to separate it from Catholicism. In the early 1980s, 11...
Oh, man. Didn't I tell y'all we're going to start talking about Catholicism? Because Cadence wants to believe that Catholicism is the best way to be a Christian, I guess. Never mind all those Catholic priests that be saying kids. I want to know who her priest is. Who she go? Because I can run his background. Like Cadence, it's the man that you going to and doing confessions with. And he out here touching on children since you can't stand, no one wants kids to be SA'd. But if you got such a venom and animus towards men doing this, and they claim to be, ministers of the cloth and all this other stuff, you need to start in your own backyard, Cadence. Start with those Catholic priests. Let's start with yours. What's his name? Can't make this up.
Top Scientologists, including Hubbard's wife, were sent to prison for infiltrating, burglarizing, and wiretapping more than 100 private and government agencies in an attempt to block their investigations. Oh, it sounds simply adorable. No wonder Tom Cruise loves them. But just what do you get for giving your life savings to Scientology? Surely it can't all go to those spiffy pins and medals. Oh, no, my friends. Join the Church of Scientology, and you'll know the truth. According to Hubbard, the truth is, well, I'll let Slugger explain it. 75 million years ago, extraterrestrial beings were sent to planet Earth by intergalactic ruler Xenu, who then blew up the aliens with hydrogen bombs in a volcano. Because molten lava just isn't enough to kill those pesky aliens. The resulting explosion caused millions of alien spirits to be released into the air. The spirits were then trapped and brainwashed into believing in God and religion, Christ, Moses, Muhammad, Willy Wonka, and Sade. Today on Earth, all the spirits of these aliens have attached themselves to our bodies and are the root cause of all the false reality. These attached spirits are called body thetans, or BTs. Now, in order to become clear and get rid of all those nasty BTs that are keeping you down, you have to be audited. We do that with something called an e-meter. The e-meter sees all, knows all. It is never wrong. To use the e-meter, you are to hold two metal
Yeah,
rods
the
in your
dumb things
hands.
that can we just take a look back at the dumb things that Ron Hubbard said? An e-meter that can detect some alien thinking on you. Are you kidding me? When he hasn't even proven what volcano they landed in. What's the name of the volcano they landed in again? Maybe I missed that part. Let me go back. Hold on. I never heard the name of the actual volcano. Did y'all hear the name of the volcano? Perhaps I missed that. Y'all, this has got to be the craziest thing ever. Let me go back. Maybe I missed the part of the volcano, like the name of the volcano. Because he never said the name. I've never heard the name of the volcano.
He knew, who then blew up the aliens with hydrogen bombs in a volcano. Because molten lava just isn't enough to kill.
In a volcano, but it wasn't a special volcano here. Y'all understand how stupid this is? How are you going to prove that something exists on somebody, but you can't prove what volcano they landed in? Xenu, the boy girl warrior princess, landed in the volcano on Earth, on Earth, on our planet. And no one knew the name of the damn volcano. This is part of this is why I love being an independent journalist. I get to ask all these questions that no one thinks about, you know, that the Scientologist people that want to push this cult, they're not thinking about that. They're not thinking like, what if somebody asks, what's the name of the volcano? If they landed in a volcano, wouldn't that be proof? You know, like proof that dinosaurs existed with finding bones. Yo, you can't make this stuff up. Isn't there some volcano they can name? It's just a random volcano, y'all. We're not gonna tell you which one, so you can go actually find it and see if that actually happened. Nope. You're just gonna say a volcano. Doesn't matter.
Those pesky aliens. The resulting explosion caused millions of alien spirits to be released into the air. The spirits were then trapped and brainwashed into believing in God and religion. Christ, Moses, Muhammad, Willy Wonka, and Sade. Today on Earth, all the spirits of these aliens have attached themselves to our bodies and are the root cause of all the false reality. These attached spirits are called body thetans, or BTs. Now, in order to become clear and get rid of all those nasty BTs that are keeping you down, you have to be audited. We do that with something called an e-meter. The e-meter sees all, knows all. It is never wrong. To use the e-meter,
but the e-meter can't detect the type of volcanic ash coming with these statins to name the name of the actual volcano that Xenu landed in. You know, Xenu, the boy girl warrior princess from the video game.
Are to hold two metal rods in your hands, not in your mouth, as both Travolta and Cruz accidentally did during their first audits. Travolta told the German magazine Stern, I use it every day, at home, or in the celebrity center in Hollywood. I also take a machine with me when I'm on location. It's a religious device and I enjoy it. I'm always totally refreshed by it. Of course he loves it, and it has two huge rods attached to it. I also attend religious counseling where, with a spiritual guide, I tackle personal problems. Yes, perhaps the problem of being gay? Oh, yes, kids, it's true. Mr. Travolta likes to smoke the sausage. In May 1991, a male porn star collected $100,000 from a tabloid for an account of his alleged 2-year liaison with Travolta. 6 months later, Travolta announced that he was getting married to actress and fellow Scientologist Kelly Preston. Can someone say arranged marriage? Well, at least Travolta has his own kids. Cruz is so horrified by the punani that he adopted his. Make money, make more money, make others produce so as to make money.
Okay, so this is before Tom Cruise actually got married and had his own daughter. Oh my God. You gotta imagine, does he still claim to be the father of those was it Nicole Kidman's kids? Does he still claim that, like, they adopted children together, right? Is he still claiming to be their father or what? How's that going?
You get them in or
Oh my
why,
God.
just do it. Cruise must believe in this doctrine as he tried to sway Scarlett Johansson to join the cult. According to RadarMagazine.com, Cruise invited Johansson to dinner when, after 2 hours of proselytizing, Cruise opened the door to reveal a second room full of upper-level Scientologists, at which point the cool-headed ingenue politely excused herself. Johansson was so shaken up by the events that she quit her job as co-star of Cruise's movie Mission Impossible 3. Just how freaked out do you have to be to drop out of a multi-million-dollar payday?
We're talking about Black Widow. Scarlett Johansson, right? That's Black Widow. She didn't need his movie. Thank God. What God doing? Look how good God is. She dropped out of that movie, and then she ended up being Black Widow in a Marvel franchise movie, making more than that. Oh, man. And had her own feature film. What a way to tell Tom Cruise to kick rocks.
About as freaked out as Tom Cruise is of vaginas. Of course, Tom Cruise eventually got Kitty Holmes to join him in his Homo Alien Odyssey.
What?
After going missing for 2 weeks, Kitty Holmes popped up as Cruise's new gal pal. Less than 6 weeks after that, they were engaged, with Tom doing his best to act in love.
Did y'all know that? They were engaged after 6 weeks? I didn't know that. I didn't keep up with them. 6 weeks? What is the deal with people hopping in these engagements like this? I mean, seriously. 6 weeks. Oh my God.
Kitty Holmes to join him in his Homo Alien Odyssey. After going missing for 2 weeks, Kitty Holmes popped up as Cruise's new gal pal. Less than 6 weeks after that, they were engaged, with Tom doing his best to act in love, even resorting to jumping on couches, as opposed to jumping on men's crotches. Some people, well, if they don't like Scientology, well then, fuck you. Really, fuck you, period.
Back at you, Tom Cruise. On behalf of the Lady Luck Club and all the Luxes here, you can kiss our ass collectively. We owe you nothing. And Scientology is a cult. The end. Can't make this stop.
Coincidentally, the same statement is commonly made by rabbis towards those that dislike Judaism. Oh, Scientology, a religion made up by a science fiction writer to make money, filled with galactic aliens becoming clear in e-meters. Oh, how should I put this? Scientologists, you are fucking morons.
Oh, that was epic. Oh, man. Shout out to you, Sai, for sending us that video. That was a good way to introduce it. Now, I was going to say it was a good way to tell kids about it, but he threw a little cussing in that. But, you know, I cussed it, whatever. It was good. That was funny. I'm still waiting on them to name the volcano. Xenu, the boy-girl warrior princess. Y'all, the e-meter thing is what really gets me. They actually think this thing works. You can't make this up. It's like, okay, can you describe that thing on you? Well, what does it smell like? It smells like baking bread. It might be Candace's alien baby. Cadence and her yeasty infections. I had to throw that in there. All right, y'all. This next one is this is the one that Kyla sent over. I'm trying to see what was the thing? Okay. So this is Liz Gale. Liz Gale is a content creator, and she has a video she did responding to Cadence, who said that Scientology could not take over when it very much so can, and has already started doing that. I don't understand why Scientology thinks they have an army, though. You know, because U.S. citizens are not going to let you just take over a state. Hell no. We'll send the Coast Guard and National Guard after you. You down in Florida, they need some water? Yeah, the Navy will come around there too. We got Air Force. We got armies. Like I don't know. I don't know what to say. If they'll allow a cult to take over an entire state on U.S. soil, I think it'd just be time for us to just get the military involved and sit their asses down properly. I'm just saying. You can't make this stuff up. So shout out to Liz Gale for doing this video. I haven't seen it, so it's gonna be the first time watching. Make sure you guys go check her out. If I could get one of the mods to drop her YouTube channel link in the chat, and I will drop the video link in the chat, and then you guys can check out all of her other great content. And if she's a former Scientology member, I would love to have her over here in the LLC. So let's get to it. Put a one in the chat where you can see and hear.
Confessions of an ex-Scientologist with Liz Gale. Messy, fun, raw, real. Let's get into it.
No. John Stein is a surrogate baby with Riley Presley, Elvis' granddaughter. What?
Woo! We made it. We made it. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? I'm so glad to see you.
What?
I see you in the chat. I see you got here before me. Thank you for being here. To the lovely mods. I see Dylan's here modding, and Miss Sunrise I thought I saw. So
thank you, Cheryl, for the info, honey.
Here. And I see some members too. I still haven't figured out YouTube, but I'm pretty sure if your name's in green with a little checkbox, you are an art supporter member of mine. And I love it. I love that for both of us. Okay. A girl is a little puffy this morning because I stayed up till 1 a.m. working on my Red String project. This is Confessions of an Ex-Scientologist with me, Liz Gale. I am, among other things, an artist. And dang, I was getting into it yesterday. While I was getting into it, I was listening to podcasts as we do, and I heard finally Candace Owens say Scientology.
I know, right?
Now, this is not a political. Believe me, guys. I don't do politics.
Me either.
You guys know I'm a conspiratorial person. I'm an ex-Scientologist. I think it's all a stage, a theater.
Priscilla Presley just left Scientology good.
But it's still a good show sometimes. So I've wondered why Candace Owens hasn't mentioned Scientology at all ever since I started watching her, which was maybe...
Yeah, that's not my video, the static.
11 months ago, because she was starting to do some book club about a book called Chaos, which is about the CIA, Charles Manson. It introduced the idea that Charles Manson's family was actually an MK Ultra experiment to try to push people to the max, to the brink, to do terrible things. So that book piqued my interest, right? So that's when I started. So I just want you all to know, I know that she's a polarizing figure. I know that Candace Owens has had a hell of a history. I don't want to talk about any of that. That's not what we're talking about today. So, my ears perked up when I'm in my studio doing my art. I'm like putting propaganda together. I've got old magazines from the early 1900s with advertisements in them. I'm just in the zone. Is it not?
Hold on, let me fast forward a bit.
Okay.
She's trying to get her sound together.
I have this weird thing.
That might be what's causing the static.
I will pull you closer. I changed my audio. I just put it on my MacBook. I realize I'm going to sound a little more tingy, whatever. No, it's this. It's this whole situation. I got duped into buying something I don't understand. Because it was cheap. Because, anyway. All right. So, back on track. We'll edit all that out of the one later. Here I am.
She's like, I duped into buy something I don't understand.
Doing the thing, and I overhear Candace. I want to tell you, I'm going to show you what I overheard. It was just this little 20-second clip.
Oh, that's too funny.
You actually do not have a right to your own state. That's just made up. You've just been saying it and brainwashing people to believe that that's a thing. You couldn't just get a bunch of Scientologists to get up and say, oh, well, why can't Scientologists have their own state. Why can't we just take over all of America? It's not a thing. It's actually not.
Yep, you're mute.
No, she has Scientologists close in her life. I know this. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Did you hear what she said? She said Scientology can't just, I don't know, have their own state. Did you guys hear that? Let's listen to it one more time.
You actually do not have a right to your own state. That's just made up. You've just been saying it and brainwashing people to believe that that's a thing. You couldn't just get a bunch of Scientologists to get up and say, oh, well, why can't Scientologists have their own state? Why can't we just take over all of America? It's not a thing.
Who's going to tell Candace it's a thing? I think we are. I think today.
Liz, I'm going to tell you this right now, girl. You know why she said that? Because she watching my stuff, and I said flat out that they taking over Clearwater. And she's trying to debunk me. Candace, you're not smart enough. It's so funny. Her cult members don't understand why she watches me, but she does. Candace, kiss my ass.
We are. So, hey, Candace. I don't think she's really watching, but let's talk about how it's a thing.
You'd be surprised, girl.
Have you heard of this? Let me share my screen here. I have a lot of tabs open, guys. Here we go. Let's let real investigative journalists do the job for us. So this is a Tampa Bay Times amazing website. In fact, let me copy and paste it for you because it has a whole interactive map. Yeah, exactly. Because they want to take over the world, not the United States. Duh. That's funny. So the link's in the chat. I just put it in if you guys want to check out this interactive map. But it's going to tell us a story, and we're going to read it together. Because I don't have to reinvent the wheel here. But this is what we all need to know. Scientology has 100% busted in and tried to take over a United States city in 2026. That is actively happening right now as we speak. All right, so how do we do it? We have to start at the top here. Here we go. I was at the top. So, clear takeover. How Scientology doubled its downtown Clearwater footprint. We're talking about Clearwater, Florida. Story by Tracy McManus, Hero. Graphics by Eli Murray, Chef's Kiss, from the Times staff writers. This is Tampa Bay Times. Yes, Tampa. Clearwater is 30 minutes from Tampa. That's true. Everybody hit the like button, please. I forget to say it. I'm going to start pushing it. Okay. This is such a cool website. So scroll down to read the story. So first, Scientology came to downtown Clearwater in 1975. It bought a hotel and wrote plans to take control of the city. So there's the building. Had one building at this time. The church's campus grew slowly over decades. Its members bought property on surrounding blocks. Now, for a lot of this time, Scientology's identity was hidden. That means that they came in under false pretenses. In fact, the town hated it so much. I'm going to show you something really quick. Hold on. Here's a newspaper article. So this was a 1976 article in the Tampa Bay Times also. I mean, they're all over Scientology. You'd have to be. It's a huge story. Okay, so this says, finally, it was revealed. The Church of Scientology surfaces as the Fort Harrison Hotel's owner. So, Clearwater, the controversial Church of Scientology of California, describing itself as the foremost religious reform group in America and the world, announced Wednesday that it is the real buyer of the Fort Harrison Hotel and is backing the United Churches of Florida, the hotel's tenants. Pushed into revealing this, they were basically ousted. Pushed into revealing its 95% backing of the ventures by a rising tide of public curiosity and distrust, we'll talk about that in a second, the Church of Scientology flew a spokesman to the Tampa Bay area in the early morning hours to make the announcement. The spokesperson, Reverend Arthur J. Marin of Los Angeles, told reporters that the church had decided originally to keep out of the picture, even to the extent of not letting the hotel sellers know about the tie. So they're liars. Yes, of course, Journey. Of course, we'll get there. I'm using
So I keep
the
wondering why
Tampa Bay
she was
Times
pausing.
map, but
She's
maybe there's more
live
since
in
then. You're
this.
saying, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's tons. So hold on.
Don't let me pause. Let me go to the actual website because I actually wanted to see that map thing. Here it is. Here, this is the Tampa Bay Times. It's projects.tampabay.com, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat because I wanted to see this map. I think she's live too, so she's talking to her audience. But we have here the Tampa Bay Times. Clear takeover. How Scientology doubled its downtown Clearwater footprint in 3 years. Now we've seen previous videos where they mentioned one of the business owners said that they tried to keep him from getting started, opening his own business for at least 2 years. They go out of their way to keep people from, starting their own businesses there. So if you say scrolls here, story by Tracy McManus, graphics by Eli Murray. These are Time Stuff writers. Back on October 20th of 2019. So this is about 7 years old. So as you all can see, Scientology came to downtown Clearwater in 75. It bought a hotel and wrote plans to take control of the city. And they do that by trying to keep people from opening up businesses as well. So you guys see, this is the hotel over here. Based on this is the Google map. And this is written back in 2019, right? So here it says the church's campus grew slowly over decades. Its member bought property on surrounding blocks. So as you all can see, it's going to start highlighting what they purchased as we scroll down, and as they give more information, you'll start to see more buildings highlight. So here is the property here for the what is this? The hotel? They got a hotel, and then they just said the church's campus grew. And then you guys see this highlighting back here as well. So it's showing you bit by bit what all they purchased, all the property they have purchased. Look at that. I'm just scrolling. We haven't even gotten to the next sentence yet. Look at all the properties they have acquired so far. What's highlighted? Look at that. We haven't even gotten to the next statement yet. And Cadence thinks that they don't want to take over. You're out of your mind. Look at this. Look at all the properties they purchased. Then in 2017, companies controlled by parishioners began buying retail property at an unprecedented rate. So companies controlled by the Scientologist members began buying retail property. And you guys see here, look at all of these buildings highlighted. This is in Clearwater. Look at that. Don't they have a commune now? Oh my God. They doubled the church's footprint in less than 3 years. Because Scientology brings in a lot of money and they don't pay taxes. So they have a lot of free assets, a lot of money at their disposal to purchase property like this. And they probably get it really cheap because they're purchasing it under the Scientology, which is nonprofit and tax exempt. I wouldn't be surprised if they were getting some sort of discount or something. They probably don't have to pay as much property taxes. You can't make this stuff up. So less than 3 years, they doubled their footprint. The impact is clearest in the heart of downtown. Okay, so now it's giving you an outline of what all they own now. Look at that. Take away the church footprint, a few condo towers, and all buildings owned by the government. You can't make this up. Look how little is left. Oh, Lord. This is what's left. Y'all see that? This is insane. Hey, Brother Malik, how you doing? What's going on? Cheryl says you have to understand only Sea Orgs live in seclusion, trained in Clearwater, paid $47 for a 110-hour work week. You can't join Scientology in Clearwater. Sea Orgs don't go up the bridge ever. So that's where they go to train at. And that's so crazy. Look how little they pay people. And yet they're able to buy all this property. A realtor says 100% true to the definitely block business. Yeah, they block businesses all the time. Nonprofit can get first dibs on foreclosed government-owned properties. What? And I believe you, realtor. You can't make this up. So if they get first dibs on it, and these are government seized properties, they're definitely getting them cheap. And they tax exempt. Look how little what's left. You can't make this up. Then walk down Cleveland Street, downtown's main artery. Okay, so we're going down Cleveland Street. Look at that. Look at this. Leading up to the waterfront, 22 of the first 33 buildings now have ties to Scientology. Wow. The Church of Scientology and companies run by its members spent $103 million over the past 3 years buying up vast sections of downtown Clearwater. They now own most commercial property on every block within walking distance of the waterfront, putting the secretive church firmly in control of the area's future. Most of the sales have not previously been reported. The Tampa Bay Times discovered them by reviewing more than 1,000 deeds and business records, and interviewed more than 90 people to reconstruct the circumstances surrounding the transactions. Here's my thing. If you're not doing anything wrong, why are you hiding it? You're trying to operate as a religious sector, as a nonprofit, and yet you don't want people to know you're buying up real estate, you're buying up properties. When you have to sit here and do this secretively, and this is what they have to do to find out, there's something wrong with that. Because no one wants a cult in the neighborhood. You can't make this up. Yes, once I'm done with this, I sure will. But once I'm done, because I never got an email from them. So once I'm done here, I will hop over and I'll try to stream to my channels as well, because I want to be able to do that. But let them know. Email me the link, please, because I haven't seen an email from Information Man Show. So can you please let him know that I don't have the link to set that up yet, so that I can live stream as well? I appreciate you. But yes, once I'm done with this, we sure will. Shout out to you. Shout out to you all. Make sure you guys are able to tune in as well. Cheryl says they are currently lobbying to buy the street in front of the Fort Harrison to ban protesters. What? These people don't have any respect for our First Amendment rights at all. You can't ban protesters? What are they doing? Are you kidding me? And the government should not sell it to them if they're trying to just, infringe upon free speech and expression. You can't make this up. This is crazy. Okay, so even city leaders said they didn't know the full extent of the purchases until they were shown maps created by the Times. I think they knew. They probably just got paid off. They don't care. The church, its members, and companies they control now own 185. Y'all look at this. 185 properties that cover over 101 acres in the center of downtown. Half the properties were bought since January 2017, almost 10 years ago. The land grab started as tensions grew between the church and the Clearwater City Council. Each had proposed major redevelopment projects designed to lure new business into the empty storefronts that surround the city-owned waterfront and the church's spiritual headquarters. Then the council interfered with a land deal that Scientology demanded for its plan. The church stopped communicating with the city. Almost immediately, a decades-long trickle of purchases by church members turned into a flood. You can't make this stuff up. Since 2017, the Church of Scientology and companies run by its members have bought 92 properties around the center of downtown. The church acquired 3 others in a land swap. So look at this. The parishioner-run companies is in red. Local government is like white striped. And then the church is in yellow. Y'all look at 2016 versus 2019. So the cult members are helping the cult to purchase up all these properties so that it can keep doing the weird things that it's doing, where people are coming up missing and abusing kids and paying slave wage money, but yet wants to infringe upon rights to keep people from protesting. As if we don't have an army. You can't make this up. Clearwater, if y'all need some reinforcements, you may have to go up to the next level. What is the governor doing about this? They're clearly monopolizing the downtown area. They don't want other business owners down there. It's clear discrimination. You don't get to do that. You can't make this up. What is the governor doing about it? Does the governor even care? Scientology is causing them to lose money, because if you're blocking other business owners from opening up businesses down there, that's less revenue coming in. Then who the hell wants to buy a burger from Scientology? You don't know what the hell you might get lured into with that. A cult is a cult. You can't force people to support a cult. You can't force people to support Scientology. We don't owe them anything. They could go somewhere else and get the hell on. But they're trying to force people to patronize them of some sort by keeping other business owners from opening up businesses down there. Nobody should have to fight 2 years because of Scientologists to open up a restaurant. But yet, that has happened. And now they want to buy up property to infringe upon our rights here as American citizens. They can kick rocks and get the hell out of here if they don't like it. The government should not allow this to happen. I don't care if they're tax exempt. They're not paying taxes. They're not helping in any economy at all, on a local level, state level, or federal level. So why does the government go out of their way to protect them, is my question. Other than them lobbying individuals and probably bribing, officials individually, they don't overall add to our economy. You can tell them to kick rocks and say, we got armies. We got the Marines. We'll bring them in. Don't make us have to show you our power here. We're not for play. We can't say we're a sovereign nation. We're letting a cult take over. Like, are you kidding? It's ridiculous. Man, that stuff gets me amped up. It's so ridiculous. IMS will send a link to your email before show. Look out. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. Cheryl says, after Operation Snow White, they got their religious tax exempt status. It's so crazy. New mayor is finally bucking them. I hope so. What about the mayor? Good. Because I'm sitting here like real to say that's crazy. I used to live in Clearwater, and everyone who grew up there always told me to stay away from their building and the religion. Yeah. I wouldn't go nowhere near it either. This is so crazy. The governor needs to keep his foot on their neck, because that's the only way you're going to be able to keep them at bay. They can sit here and get mad at our laws, tell them to break them if they want to. And then you can lock their asses up. Like, this is ridiculous. Nearly all of the properties were bought through limited liability companies, LLCs, which are required to disclose their operators but not their owners. Although that arrangement is standard in real estate, it makes it impossible to know whether the properties are owned by the Scientologists who manage the companies, the wealthy church, or another hidden party. Sounds like Florida needs to be passing some state laws down there when it comes to, purchasing of properties through these LLCs. That's what needs to happen. Companies controlled by different parishioners bought neighboring properties that create clear assemblages of land. Scientology's extraordinary influence over its members has been documented in government investigations and testimony from former parishioners throughout its 65-year history. That has led defectors from the church and city leaders To believe there is little chance parishioners are making significant real estate deals around Scientology's Mecca without the church's involvement. Of course they're involved. Church has shed no light on its plans because it's trying to take over. We got a whole government that's gonna let that happen. Seriously. So we're not gonna say anything down there in Florida. Seriously. Y'all, this is something else. This is a good read here. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I've dropped the link in the chat for you all to read so you all can see what's going on. Look at these photos here. This is something else. I mean, this could be a booming tourist site. You got all of that coastal front area. I mean, just around there. And you mean to tell me you got to compete with a cult just to go down there and just go on a vacation and enjoy your time? It's insane. You got to deal with this cult. Just to go down to, if you want to go on vacation there, you got to deal with this cult. They're everywhere. Y'all, this is something else. Look at that. And each person that has ownership, they're showing you those properties and where they're located on the map. This is fantastic. Tampa Bay Times did the damn thing right here. They did it. Y'all see this? Some Agami properties, and then it gives you a closer look based on Google Maps. This is fantastic here. Then 3 Zingno properties, and then it shows you where they are. This is absolutely amazing. Look at it. Andros Marina. You all need to make sure you read this. If you're thinking about going out to Clearwater, think twice. Please think twice. Because they're trying to buy up all of Clearwater and take over. You can't even just go down there and just enjoy yourself. You got to worry about that crap. Visitors walk through downtown on a Friday. City officials are trying to make the area a regional destination for food, drink, and entertainment. You can't do that if you let a cult called Scientology take over and buy all these properties. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to pass some legislation to curb what they're able to do under these LLCs. Y'all, this is something else. Cheryl says it's gotten bad because of all the money thrown at business owners, private investigators, government. Pam Bundy speaks at their events. You can't make this up. See? When they're sitting here bribing specific officials, they know who to bribe. These people get bribed and then they take the money, but they don't care if the money flows back into our economy. They don't care about that because they don't pay taxes. Scientology doesn't pay taxes. So they don't care about whether or not their money is flowing through our economy by at least paying property taxes. They could care less. So they don't aid in our economy at all. What impact do they have when it comes to, Clearwater, the state of Florida in a broader sense? None. And then they paying their people like they slaves. Get out of here. And they're letting them take over? Seriously? A broker is trying to buy the building Peter and Emily, is it Laris, have owned for decades. But the couple isn't ready to go. Okay? I don't even know who they are. Y'all got to read this. This is something else. So make sure you check out. Let me drop the link again in the chat. We'll get back to the video. Y'all, this is something else. I just wanted to go over here and check this out because it seems like Liz is doing a live stream. So she's answering questions and stuff like that along the way. She also pulled up another article here. We're going to go through this because I want to get to the next video with the interview.
You guys. So Clearwater Mayor Gabriel Cazares, publicly incensed by the guard's presence, you just saw that guard, and the renter's evasiveness, he reacted strongly to the Church of Scientology's announcement. Quote, "This confirms what we suspected from the beginning," he said. "They did not level with us. They have misused our ministers. They have misled the public, and they have evaded the truth." So wait, hold on. They've been at this for a while. And the guards that were walking around, like that security guard, and they had billy clubs, it was really making people in the community nervous. And it was really making people like just uncomfortable. And you could tell that they were lying about what they were doing.
Their own police department now?
And so the mayor spoke up, and Scientology's response to this was to get their internal CIA, their own group, their dirty tricks department, the Guardian's office, I believe it was at the time, to frame the mayor for a hit and run and a sex scandal south of the border. This is documented. It was called, I mean, it's extremely documented. Let me show you. It's called Project Normandy. Here we go. I have the actual paperwork, but I wanted to just show you the Wikipedia. Project Normandy Scientology. Here we go. I had it pulled up earlier. Okay. So the history is, like we just talked about, in the 1970s, the Church of Scientology Corporation used a front group called the United Churches of Florida to purchase the Fort Harrison Hotel. And they made that their flag land base. Up until this point, L. Ron Hubbard was like on a fleet of boats in international waters trying to port everywhere, and everyone was kicking him out. And so it was top secret that they were even moving in. Now, later they were raided, and paperwork was found out that in order to punish and silence the mayor who was criticizing them, they decided to entrap him in a sex scandal. They said that he had a whole second family down south of the border in Mexico. And they also staged a phony hit and run. They had one of their church members go and pretend to get hit by his car and then say that he did a hit and run. It's wild. Eventually, the mayor wasn't the mayor anymore, and he did sue Scientology for $1.5 million, but he settled, so we don't know. We don't know. Meanwhile, they're running Scientology out of a hotel room in Tarpon Springs or some such. No billy clubs, but swagger sticks. Yeah, and it's still happening. Exactly. So people in the town tried many, many ways to deal with it. Here's one. This is from 1979. It says, businessmen offer to buy Scientology headquarters, but are turned down. Clearwater, a group of local businessmen seeking to help downtown Clearwater offered Friday to buy the Church of Scientology's headquarters in the former Fort Harrison Hotel for $1 million. But the officials of the church, who paid $2.3 million for the building in 1975, say they plan not only to keep the hotel, but to remain in Clearwater indefinitely. The Scientologists own 5 other buildings in the city. Total value, including the Fort Harrison Hotel, is estimated at more than $10 million. This is in 1979. Quote, we have no intention of moving out, the church spokesman, Milt Wolf, said. Our intentions are simply to become a part of the community and resolve any problems that exist. Wolf said he made a similar statement in a meeting Friday with Dr. Gilbert Ginelli, a Florida optometrist who organized the businessmen's offer. So far, however, Ginelli is not accepting that as final word from the church. He plans to give them 14 days. The reason they're doing this is, it says, the offer was really just a kind of opening, Ginelli said, like you go to a flea market and you say, I'll give you so much and see how it goes. He added a minimum offer was made because he and his partners believe at least another $1 million will be needed to renovate the 54-year-old former hotel. Oh man, too bad they didn't have a bunch of slaves. Slave labor could have done it for pennies. He says, we think no one wins as long as Scientologists are here, Harper said. It's a major issue. Having them in downtown is not good for the city, not good for downtown businesses, and not good for them. We thought offering to buy the hotel would give them a chance to withdraw on a reasonable basis. Obviously, guys, they didn't take the bait, right?
Let's fast forward a little bit more. Let's see here. She goes through the article that we went over. Let's get to this point here.
Media engagement platform. So basically, they say they want to make a mile-long walkable journey that is a museum without walls that goes down memory lane, and it keeps the history of that area alive and through Garden Avenue. So during segregation, Garden Avenue was more than the heart of Clearwater's Black business community. It quietly symbolized cooperation between Black and white citizens. While laws enforced separation, real life told a different story. Black-owned businesses served all, and downtown success relied on shared labor and mutual respect. Today, the Garden honors that legacy. Our first multimedia installation, The Story of Clearwater in Black and White, begins the walking tour by highlighting the unspoken partnerships that helped build a resilient and unified city. And so these guys, we got this Sidney Wigfall. He's a trusted cab driver for 47 years in the area. Frank Muscarella, Esquire. He went on to the U.S. Attorney's Office and he worked in downtown Clearwater. Donnie Sorey, 30 years. He served at the Pure Oil gas station right there, known for his kindness. The French dry cleaners, the local barber, Garden Avenue Cafe. Charles Rutledge Sr., a leader in Clearwater's NAACP, played a key role in advancing civil rights. Minnie Kerbo, she was a teacher in the 1920s, and Miss Christine Morris, a librarian. She looks fun. I like your smile. Okay.
Wow.
So positive. And yes, it is run by Brooke Skips. Save the garden. Thank you. So Candace doesn't know. Candace doesn't know. And you know, I suspect something is going on with Scientology and Candace, because she does have, I guess, in her life, some pretty top-level Scientologists. And we can talk about that another day, but I just really wanted to address this. And I'm wondering, like, does she know? Is that why she said it?
Do not have a right to your own state. That's just made up. You've just been saying it and brainwashing people to believe that that's a thing. You couldn't just get a bunch of Scientologists to get up and say, oh, well, you know, why can't Scientologists have their own state? Why can't we just take over all of America?
And the thing is, it's like, that's exactly what they're doing. She's not even reading or researching this stuff. She's not even researching anything, because Cadence watches my videos to learn from it. Cadence, you can easily research Scientology in Clearwater and see what they're doing. As a matter of fact, you could go beyond what Tampa Bay did. You have the platform, you moron. You can't make this up. It's not hard to see that they're trying to take over. Now, will we let them as American citizens? Hell no. Because, see, they could just try to take over Clearwater, but they can't conquer over the entire United States of America. If we have to roll up down there and get our military to help support us and back us up, we're not going to let them. But it's the fact that they're trying. They believe they have the right to do all of this that they're doing. That's why they're doing it. They believe that they're unstoppable. They believe that they got to pay off people and bribe people for it. Because if they thought that they were doing something right, why would they need to bribe and lobby certain officials? Why are they inviting Pam Bondi out to their speaking engagement? Scientology have their own police force, don't they? It's so crazy here. It's like, I could have sworn they had their own police force. They definitely have the Clearwater Police Department scared. Why? Who the hell needs to be scared of them? They believe in Thetans from a volcano from Xenu, the boy-girl warrior princess. You can't make this up. All you got to do is show everybody their little e-meter and just have people have a good laugh at it. And that's it. Like, it's the buffoonery of it all. But they are actually trying to take over. Good grief. And it's the stuff she can read about. And she doesn't want to look it up and research. Candace, won't you take your behind to Clearwater and do a live stream down there? Let's see how bold you are. Take your ass to Clearwater and go down there and try to do your so-called, questioning. Because you always just asking questions. Go to Clearwater, Florida, and ask questions of those people out there around the church building, around that Sea Org building. See how well that goes for you. I just want her to just be daring enough to try. I think Cadence should go to Clearwater, Florida, and try to talk to some of the members down there and see how that goes. Because she says a lot of dumb things, but she never ever wants to go out there and be boots on the ground and go find out for herself. I think you should go down to the Clearwater, Cadence, Candice, and try to talk to some of those people in the Sea Org building. See how they go. You can't make this up. She wouldn't last 5 minutes, but go ahead, Cadence. Maybe you'll last longer than the other content creators like Tommy G and others who have dared to go there and actually try to be boots on the ground. It's all easy for you to talk all that smack behind a microphone. Take your ass down to the Clearwater, Florida, and see what happens. There you go.
America. It's not a thing. It's actually not.
Ooh, child. We can't hear you.
We can see with our eyes because things have been bought. It is tangible evidence. If one thinks about the backroom deals and the leverage and the lobbying and the partnerships and the coalitions that cost a lot of money, the invisible strings, the Pam Bondi strings.
Oh, good. I'm glad they're backing up.
There's a lot there that I suspect is woven into Scientology
for a reason.
in Florida's entire political system. Would be my guess. She is safe pointing, I feel like, Scientology. And she probably knows, because there's this guy he's been in Candace's life for a while. And when I hear her talking, and
is she talking about John Mappin?
He was instrumental in starting Turning Point UK. And it was at that first.
Hold on. She's talking about John Mappin.
Those are two people. They're married. We'll just talk about John. He was instrumental in starting Turning Point UK. And it was at that first event or series of events there that Candace came and met her husband and was married like 17 or 19 days later. So we know that he's been in Candace's life for a while. And when I hear her talking, and then she read his letter, that makes me feel that they have a tighter connection. And she talks about anti-psychiatry. She talks about anti-pharmaceuticals. She talks about the occultism, worshiping Baal, Satanism, all the things. L. Ron Hubbard's, the sex magic rituals that he was involved in, but she never names him. Imagine describing a menage a trois. You're like, oh my God, guess what I heard? They were having a threesome. Who was it? Oh, it was Jack Parsons and Sarah Northrup. That's only two people. Who's the other person? It's L. Ron Hubbard. Oh, Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. Well, that kind of seems important, but she never brings that up. I mean, whatever. So I find this interesting. I do think she, I believe, has been safe pointed by Scientology. And I see in the comments that she's mega Christian. I believe she's mega Catholic. I don't even claim to totally understand the difference or what that means. I would never speak to understand. I never speak on behalf of somebody else's faith. But this is what she said. She's super Catholic. And I actually hope that's true. I hope that her faith is genuine and real, because at this point, it probably is the only thing keeping her from actually joining Scientology. And so
she's gonna join it either way. Let me tell you something. And Candace is the type of person where she goes where the wind blows. Okay, Candace, I'll figure you out. That's why she throws her base red meat and goes after Erica Kirk. Now she's talking about this girl was a possible groomer of some sort. You can't make this stuff up. She's gonna do whatever the trend and the numbers tell her to do. That's how Candace operates. If it's gonna get her 4 million views in a video, she'll do it. If she's got to join Scientology just to get some more buzz all over the internet, she gonna join Scientology. That's what I'm telling you all. I mean, honestly, for her to even mention it now, because she knows I'm talking about it, it's a telltale sign that she's going to start bringing it up a lot more and try to downplay the negatives. And if it starts looking like, it probably will be a cool thing to say, I've joined Scientology just to see what happens, knowing that it's going to capture the internet's attention, she'll do it. Don't put anything past her. Like here in the Lady Luck Club, Candice, we owe you nothing. And you already know that. You're bad at this. You do what's trending. You do what gets you attention. You do what's going to bring in views and all this money. Because nobody pays you the big bucks. That's what you said. Meanwhile, she's trying to get on TPUSA's payroll. And she wants TPUSA to give her a monthly retainer for PR. That's what this is all about for Candice. It's a public relations strategy move. Candice, you might as well just say that you've joined Scientology. It's going to get you millions of views in your videos, and you know it. You're going to capture headlines on the news. Tom Cruise is probably going to call you and come and meet you. She'll do it because it's going to trend. I don't put it past Candice. Y'all know how she is. She go where the money is. There you go. She's in, period. Look, Tom Cruise calls Candice to join. She's in, period. Exactly. She goes where the money is. Exactly. Candice will say, I just joined Scientology and I feel pretty good about it. And blah, 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 blah. She'll be a boost to Scientology, but it'll be a boost to her channel. It'll be a boost to her views. She'll start getting in some of that big bucks. Candice, you get in big bucks. Because then everybody is going to want to do an interview with you. Everybody's going to be talking about it. You talking about nobody pays you the big bucks. You know how to say what you need to say to get money. I don't know why she be lying like hell. Hey, Angie, what's going on? 80% of those buildings in downtown are completely refurbished and empty. Yep. They're just buying it up just to have ownership. They're not doing anything with it. It's not bringing any revenue into the city. They don't want other business owners down there to generate revenue for the city. And they don't pay taxes. So they literally add nothing to the economy in Clearwater or in the state of Florida or in the United States of America. That's right up Candace's alley. I'm not going to help anybody. Let me not be philanthropic at all. But let me be worth $244 million. Scientology is right up Candace's alley. It's just a matter of time before she says she's in Scientology. I don't think it would take much. It wouldn't take much at all. This is crazy. Watch out. Shout out to all of you all tuning in. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Let's get back to it.
Right now, Scientology is doing this whole thing where they're saying you can be any religion and be a Scientologist. Now, they've tried this for a while, but anybody who actually knows that you can do that for a little while, but once you get to a certain point, you have to pick. One thing I have heard Candace say, and it's not an expression that I use, but I've heard her say it, Christ is king. That sounds like a hierarchy to me. I cannot imagine if that is a true belief system, that when they're faced with the choice finally of it's L. Ron Hubbard or Christ, only one is king. I can only hope that it's that faith that would keep her from walking down the path of choosing L. Ron Hubbard and Scientology.
Candace, we don't even know if you're a Christian anymore. Like that's how horrible you are. It's stuff you saying and doing. Christ would not condone that. Not at all. Talking to dead people in your sleep. That's witchcraft. You're sitting here alleging that Erica Kirk is a groomer, and then you want to be on their payroll. That's hypocrisy. You can't even stick to one thing. You let your cult members and your tip line dictate where your channel goes, because you know the more salacious you are, the more dumb things sound, the more views you get. That's why it would benefit her to just say she's in Scientology. Financially, it would benefit Candace directly. Go ahead, Candace. We'll wait. And you're going to tell us you joined Scientology today. Because that's honestly, I'd rather you do that than to be sitting here going after Erica Kirk talking about she's a groomer. You can't prove it. She's going to sue the hell out of you either way. But just go ahead and tell people you joined Scientology. You can't make this up. They're not going to make Candace choose anything. She'll be like Tom Cruise. She'll be the black female version of Tom Cruise. They'll let her do what she want to do. And they're not going to say anything because they know she has a platform. They're not going to make her look up at L. Ron Hubbard as God. They're not going to make her do that. They're going to want her to yield that influence to help boost them up. But they're not going to force her to do a damn thing. Child, please. Tom Cruise is just an idiot. But if he wanted to come out and say, hey, I'm a Catholic as well, they're not going to stop him. And they know it. Candace would be the same way. They'll still let her be a Catholic, say Christ is king, say all the stuff she's been saying that she doesn't mean. And she could be Scientology. Because they're looking at the influence. They're looking at the money you could bring in. They don't care about all that other stuff. It's a cult. They don't care. What they're not going to let her think is that she runs it. Candace, you can't go there, you're a cult leader in your own. But you can't go into another cult think you're going to take over that cult. They're not going to let that happen. Now, David Miscavige be like, look, I'm going to let you do a lot of things, but you ain't going to be able to just come over here and take over. And two cult leaders clashing. Can you imagine? Candace joining Scientology, trying to take over Scientology. As if David Miscavige is going to let that happen. Candace, you have to realize y'all might be able to kind of like be side by side, buddy, but you're not going to be able to like overtake him or anything. It's not going to happen. But if you good with that, you just want the notoriety, at some point she'll come out and say she joined Scientology because she knows it's going to get her some numbers. Because you can only talk about TPUSA but for so long. You can only ride that wave, but for so long. Candace goes where the money goes. She goes where the trending is. She goes what people are now talking about Scientology. Oh, let me go ahead and get into that conversation. This is her way of trying to get into the conversation. Y'all gotta understand somebody like Candace. That girl doesn't think for herself. She follows the trend. She follows the views. She follows the money. She's not original in anything. She's not trying to shed light on another cult. No. But she'll say she's in it if it means her getting a bunch of views and a book and a lot of interviews and making a lot of money. She'll get it. Because who's going to really come at her like, why did you do that? Like, people are scared of her now. People act like they're scared of her now. So I don't foresee anybody coming at her just going in talking about how dare you join. Hell no. They're not going to question her about why she did it. They're going to just let her talk about it. And she knows it. Because she's got a whole cult behind her. It's that simple. Candace, let us know when you're ready to say you joined Scientology.
And it's pseudoscience and it's bullshit. I don't know. I didn't follow her politically when that was like her main thing.
Exactly.
The only time I've now really heard her mention politics is she says things like, it's all a theater, it's all a circus. And I do believe in that. I definitely believe that. I believe that the two-party system is a crock of shit and designed to constantly keep people at odds and really never actually get anywhere. And
that's a good theory, Bobs. I like that theory. She wants to see here. Y'all know Candace doesn't care about Jesus Christ. She doesn't. Her whole aspect of, bringing up Christ as king and all that is to be emotionally manipulative. She pulling in people based on their faith. She knows that here in the U.S., a lot of people lean on some type of faith. Right? And she knows that will do the trick. She talks about being a Catholic over being a Christian. In her world, there's a difference when it shouldn't be. But in her world, she's Catholic, not Christian. She doesn't say and do anything that has anybody like the average, normal, sane-minded person that's not in her dumb coat believe that she's a Christian. Most of us ask this every time she opens her mouth. We're like, okay, there's no way this girl's still a Christian. But that could be a good theory right there. If she joins, it'll be because of, I'm just, testing out how this works well with my my views on my channel. She knows that X is going to blow up. YouTube is going to blow up. It's going to be in the mainstream media. She's going to be headlining for days if she comes out and says that she has joined Scientology. She knows it will work with the media. I'm calling it. I'm telling you all. Candace will do it if it means saving her ass so she can make some big bucks. Because Candace, you can try to challenge me if you want. You end up doing exactly what I say you're going to do anyway. You can't make this up because I see it coming a mile away. Now she utters the word Scientology. Of all the examples to use, why that one? Because she knows it's trending. She knows people are talking about it. It's starting to get a big buzz now. Because the last thing we want in the U.S. is for a cult to take over our country. But she knows that she can hop in on that train and monopolize it. She will. It's so crazy.
Honestly, challenge any American to tell me that they think that this system isn't corrupt and broken.
Yep.
There you go. Source. L. Ron Hubbard called himself Source. And I mean, come on, that's like another word. That is king. It is source. It's like, that's
you
God,
think they won't let her
right?
talk about
source. Yeah. So I've put up, actually, I went down some serious rabbit holes, not just from this, but there are rabbit holes to go down from the Turning Point and Candace Owens thing. I mean, I started with this guy, John Mappin. Turns out he bought Camelot Castle in Scotland, and you can go there. It's like not a bed and breakfast, but it's like a hotel. And apparently he has all this art everywhere from this other guy who he recruited into Scientology. It's all very mystical and weird. And some of it has to do with finding Excalibur, which is the sword in the stone from King Arthur and the Round Table.
That's crazy.
Which is a strangely common, it's strangely weird that a lot of people look for that. It's weird. So that's one rabbit hole. And then you can go from there to Greenland and to Uri Geller, to the supernatural. Like it's just boop, 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 boop. We're going to fall down the rabbit hole like Alice, like I was talking about the other day. And that's kind of where I've been lately. You could see on my channel, I uploaded a couple of like 7-minute videos that kind of have been talking about trying to understand a lot of the new.
Candace talking about Scientology. So she knows even just saying it. Look at how it's already raising eyebrows with her using Scientology to make a comparison, right? Candace, you know that if you come out and say you joined, it's going to buzz up a lot. Now, Cheryl made a good point. They're not going to let her talk about it, which I don't think she's ever going to go into detail. Let me be clear on this. I don't think Candace will go into detail. I'm saying she will get offers to do interviews to talk about her joining and stuff like that. I don't think she'll ever go into detail about it because she will not have enough information or the historical context to even do that in the first place. That'll probably be her saving grace, her ignorance. Her failure to read and research will be her saving grace. Because for her to even say they're not trying to take over, it shows she's not researching or reading either. So her ignorance will be her saving grace to keep her from talking about Scientology and what goes on in the, code itself. Like that'll be her saving grace. She's not going to want to find out. But just her joining, the buzz that it'll create with her just saying that she's affiliated with it, that might just be enough and sufficient. For her, it's all about getting a buzz. It's all about getting the views and the numbers. That's it. It's not because she wants to be involved. She could care less. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. She could care less about Scientology. But if she has to align herself with it to get views, to get the numbers, to get the money, to get the attention, because she's a narcissist, she will say that. That's my whole point. She will say she's aligned with it, she's affiliated with it, or she joined. Bottom line, is she going to commit to anything with it? No. Is she going to read about the history of it? Nope. So she won't be able to talk deep about it either way. Let's see. The Duggins are the wealthiest Scientologists. Gave an award to Trump a couple years ago. They got divorced. Trish lives in Florida now. What? Candace doesn't know things. She solely parrots things and she is bad at it. Exactly. Candace, you're still bad at this, okay? You're bad at this. You're horrible at it, really. But she knows that what I'm saying is true. She had to say she's in it. She will get millions of views. That video will probably get more views than her Charlie Kirk video. Hands down. Candace could get 10 million views on a video if she comes out and says that I've joined Scientology. It would not be hard for her to pick up views on that video. Is she going to go deep into it? No. She doesn't know anything to do that. And I'm not even worried about her disclosing information about this cult. She'll never do that because she's not going to read. She's not going to divest energy in it like that. But if she just says that, she knows that's going to be sufficient enough. Yeah, she can join as a public, like a public figure. But when those auditing sessions start to cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars, she's going to those auditing sessions cost thousands of dollars, Candace. She's not going to pay that. Y'all know she ain't going to pay for no auditing session. She's not going to go through all the stuff they do now. No, she's just going to be like, I'm just the face. I'm just the image, I'm just kind of like one of their mascots. Like whatever she's got to say to soothe over the situation, having everybody else wonder why she doesn't have to go through an auditing session. Everybody else does. Unless they lie like hell and say, yeah, we did it. and they didn't do it. You can't make this up. She's not giving up any money. Candace is not philanthropic like that. This is why I always say she wants to sit here and defend Palestine and Gaza and all of that. That's, fine. Defend it. But show how you're philanthropic. Are you sending them resources? Are you sending them supplies? Are you trying to help get people out of that area so that they can get into a home, they can get their kids in school, get some health care, get access to food and water? What are you doing to help them? You want to talk about kids being unallowed, all these things? That's horrible to hear. But what are you doing to help the situation? People don't challenge Candace in that. And her cult members aren't going to ask that at all. They're too busy trying to accuse everyone else of being jealous of her because they're idiots. They're not going to go to her and say, hey, are you going to start, some sort of charity or something to help send money and supplies and resources over there? Can you send them some money? If her cult members start demanding that she starts to contribute towards a cause, guess what she gonna do? Switch tactics and talk about something else. Then she'll come out and say she joined Scientology because it'll just take all the attention off of that. Y'all want me to pledge to give $1 million? Today I joined Scientology, blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly how that's gonna go. She doesn't care. Candace don't care either way. She just want to bring in them views. That's all she's worried about. Shout out to Liz. We're going to go to the next video here.
What Scientology agent would...
This is a former Scientologist exposing inside secrets. Oh, my goodness. So we're going to check this out. This is on LAD Bible Stories, LAD Bible Stories. I'm going to go ahead and drop the video link in the chat because I want to hear from these former members. You got to hear from them. And then you guys make sure you check out the channel. I think this is the second video we've watched so far since we've been covering the Scientology series. And I just, oh man, it's to hear their stories and to hear their experiences directly. It's very powerful. It really is. And you get a different perspective depending on what they did, where they're located. Leah Remini, of course, is one of the biggest proponents against Scientology now. But I mean, she had her whole family in it and they all came out of it. All of them left. And it's just encouraging to see how, you can get out. But it's just, we know that the horrible things they will do, the threats people have had to face, those are the stories that might not be the same as the next, but they still deserve to be heard. So we're going to check this out. You guys put a 1 in the chat. You can see it here. Let's get to it.
What we'll do is they'll get a list of everybody you know, including your doctor, your dentist, your travel agent, whoever, your friends, your family. They will then contact every person on the list, whether directly or on the phone, and say, we're gathering information about John Atack or whoever and their criminal background. We found out some really interesting things already. I was told when the head of the harassment division in the UK defected that they'd spent £2 million harassing me up until that point. Hi, I'm John Atack. I'm an expert on Scientology. A long time ago, I was a member. And I also am an expert on authoritarian cults in general. And I'm here to answer questions from the Honesty Box. What is a Scientologist and what do they believe? Scientologists are followers of a man called Lafayette Ronald Hubbard, L. Ron Hubbard. And he basically devised a science fiction set of beliefs and techniques. In reality, Scientology is an elaborate system of mind control and thought reform. Scientologists believe that they have lived for 1.25 quadrillion years. The origin story is the idea that we're all individuals completely, who separately came together in our multi-billions to create the universe. And we do that at every moment. So the universe is an illusion generated by the people within it, the beings within it. Core beliefs are quite elaborate, but the essential belief is that we are all gods. We all have godlike powers, and we've lost these powers because we didn't want to hurt others. And so what Ron Hubbard promised was that he would give us magical abilities, the ability to intend whatever we want and make it happen in the world. This hasn't proved to be true. Why did you join? because my heart was broken. I was 19 years old. I'd come back from a tour in Toulouse. I was playing drums in a band, and I came back to find my girlfriend, who I'd been living with for 15 months, had gone. And I freaked out, and I went looking for help, didn't find anything substantially, and then was introduced to Scientology by a book. And I went along. People were incredibly friendly, very smiley, smart people, and they seemed to have something that I wanted. And so it began. How is Scientology structured, and how do you progress through the ranks? There are two elements to Scientology. One is the staff Scientologists, and the other is the public Scientologists. Public Scientologists pay a great deal of money to undertake processing, as it's called, and indoctrination. Those are the words used. Processing, some people say, is a form of counselling. I would disagree with that. It's a form of hypnotism. The structure of Scientology is a hierarchy, very strict hierarchy. There's no democracy of any kind in Scientology. I have a man called David Miscavige, who took over from Ron Hubbard after Hubbard died, and he basically determines exactly what Scientologists will do. And there are hundreds of organizations around the world, though the membership is far smaller than people would usually imagine. It's about 25,000 internationally. If you were a staff member in Scientology, you would start out as a gopher, somebody who basically does what they're told and fetches the coffee. And you would then be assigned to a particular division in Scientology, and you'd work your way up until you're perhaps the head of that division, say the Treasury division, which deals with finances, or the public division, which deals with recruiting. Then you have executives above that, and you have an incredibly complicated set of organizations that are all pretty much spying on one another. If you are unlucky enough, you'll rise to go and work with David Miscavige himself, who lives in a secret location to avoid process servers from the courts. He has a violent temper. He is a short man, but physically, he exercises, he fires a crossbow, we're told. He has been known to punch people when he's lost his temper. He controls people. He is a very dangerous human being. And because he has the control of Scientology's funds, which are perhaps in the region of $3 billion. So it's probably best not to get on the wrong side of him. What am I doing here? Will you be in danger from making this video? Yes,
you can't make this up. $3 billion, and he can't put none of that money back into our economy in the United States. David Miscavige, you don't get your punk ass on somewhere. Make this make sense. He can access $3 billion with a B. And they don't want to pay taxes. Y'all know what I can do with $100,000. You can't make this up. Oh my God. And him being abusive, yeah, I can believe that. Because where is his wife? Where's Shelley Miscavige? David Miscavige, we're all waiting on you to show proof of life of your wife. If you don't want to be with her anymore, why don't you just get divorced and leave her alone? But where is she at? You can't make this up. And the FBI has not tried to find this woman. Who child? But Pam Bundy can go to speaking events with Scientology, but she can't help find Shelley Miscavige, though. Make it make sense? I don't have a reason to believe any police department talking about they saw her and she's doing well, she's okay. Get the hell out of here. With no proof, no photo, no video, no nothing. You can't make this up. So he's got a Napoleon complex with access to $3 billion. Does not add to our U.S. economy at all. The economy in Clearwater or in L.A. or the state of California or Florida. He's absolutely adding nothing to humanity. But he has the audacity to have a temper problem. For what? What you mad about? You got access to $3 billion. You get to live in secret locations to avoid being served by a court. And you mad. With your Napoleon complex. Kick rocks, David Miscavige.
I've been harassed and I've been sued many times. But hey, what the heck? Would you say you're an easily manipulated person? No. Have you ever met anybody who thinks they're an easily manipulated person? I once interviewed a young man who'd come out of Scientology, who'd been in the 14 people governing Scientology. And he said, the great thing is, John, we'll never be manipulated again. And I said, the great thing is, I know I'm gullible. I know that we are all vulnerable. But no, I'm probably less manipulable than most people because I've spent 40 years studying the methods of manipulation and teaching people about them. What is the Sea Org? And why do you sign a billion-year pledge? LOL. The Sea Organization was started in 1967 by Ron Hubbard when he was basically being chased out of pretty much all of the English-speaking world. So he took to international waters so he could be safe from prosecution. And he called his followers initially the Sea Project, Sea, SEA, as in a body of water, and then the Sea Organization. Somebody joked to him that they ought to sign contracts that would go beyond one lifetime, as Scientology believes in reincarnation, and put forward the idea that it should be for 1 billion years. How many Scientologists are there? About 25,000 around the world now. They have claimed as many as 11 million members over the years. The last census in 2021 showed 1,800 Scientologists in the UK, which was a decline of 24% over the 10 years leading up to it. Is Scientology a cult? Well, what's a cult? By dictionary definition,
yes, it's a cult.
A cult is a group of people who have reverence for a particular discipline or a particular
The answer
leader.
is yes.
And in those terms, yes, Scientology is a cult. I would go one further. Is Scientology a dangerous cult? And
yes,
from my point of view, it most definitely is. What is auditing? Originally,
because you got this little Napoleon complex, short ass, little thunk head, hot head piece of crap with $3 billion at his disposal, walking around here mad on Earth. What the hell do you have to be mad about, David Miscavige? Why are people coming up missing? Why are you paying people like slaves? 110 hour work week, and they only get $40 some, $50 some, maybe $100 now. You can't make this up. When he got $3 billion at his disposal, you got people living in communes with roaches and bugs and stuff. But then you let people have these tattletale reports because somebody switched tables at a wedding. That's nothing to audit over. You're a narcissist, you dummy. David Miscavige can kiss my ass. I don't give a damn about him.
The word comes from to audit or listen, but it's basically a set of hypnotic procedures that are used on Scientologists to bring about states of euphoria so that they'll want to buy more. There are counseling sessions which are called auditing, where one individual will audit another individual as if they were the counselor and the other person was the recipient of counselling. There are about 2,000 processes that are used, and they vary from straight memory questions, asking you about something that happened in the past, through to trying to get you to relive trauma, which is what was called Dianetics originally. It's a technique that was abandoned by Freud because it didn't work. It made people more dependent upon the therapist. What is an e-meter? The e-meter is a Wheatstone bridge. It basically measures the conductivity of the skin on your hands. It's a part of the police polygraph used in the United States extensively, and it has no value whatsoever. During most forms of auditing, the auditor will have an e-meter in front of them, which has a dial with a needle on it, and that is connected to electrodes, which are usually soup cans.
Yeah, if you wash your hands with salt water, I wonder what that, can you imagine what it'll do to that machine if you put some salt on your hands or something, the salt water or something like that, and then you go touch the cans because it's measuring the electrical activity, right? Table salt is nothing but two ions that came together that can conduct a lot of stuff. So that machine, oh God. Oh, L. Ron Hubbard. This is the stuff that people allow to happen in the United States of America. This dumb cult to flourish in the U.S. on U.S. soil, where they're buying up properties and keeping other business owners from opening up restaurants and hotels. And for what? Money that the economy overall never sees. And for the Napoleon complex short little man to throw a temper tantrum. It's access to $3 billion, and this is their machine. They can't get more sophisticated than that. God.
Or conventionally were.
You can make
and that measures the electrical resistance on your skin, on your hands. In fact, the movements in your sweat glands are not sweat itself. And the needle will move according to the questions that you're asked.
Brainwash is real.
And there are a number of different needle movements that's supposed to indicate something. What are the OT levels? OT stands for operating thetan, and the word thetan is the being, the soul, the spirit, the self. The whole idea of Scientology is that you can become an operating thetan. You are a thetan, you are a being, but you're trapped inside your body. And using Scientology, you'll be able to exteriorize from your body and make things happen at a distance. Your intention will be roused up so that you are capable of performing miracles. If you wanted to blow a planet up, you could do it. These are the kind of stories that are told. The reality is, and I've interviewed more than 1,000 Scientologists over the years, nobody achieves any of these abilities. You go through a set of procedures. By my reckoning at the moment, there are 28 levels on Scientology's bridge, and you go through those step by step. By the time I left, I'd done 25 of them. So I'd finished the 5th operating Thetan level. The great secret is that you're not meant to know that you're inhabited by millions of little beings and you have to get rid of them. So it's primarily a modern form of demon exorcism, and it is ineffectual. If they were able, if they did have these powers, then obviously they'd be aware of what I'm doing now and would be able to stop me from speaking. It hasn't happened in 40 years. Should Scientology be classed as a religion? I would personally abstain on the question because I think it's up to people to decide what their religion is. Should it have special privileges on a religious basis, for example, tax exemption? Absolutely not. It's harmful to the community, so it should not have such benefits.
Thank you. They bring in he has access to $3 billion. Yeah, that's what I've been saying this whole time. None of that money flows in our economy. And you got these people that he's bribing. Pam Bondi is too stupid to see. We're not going to sit here and let you harbor $3 billion. And you can't let any of that money flow into our economy by paying taxes or anything. And then you're trying to keep other business owners from operating businesses in Clearwater, Florida. If you don't want to pay taxes into the economy, don't stop another business from actually flourishing and paying taxes into the economy. Then you're just hurting the economy overall on two different fronts. So you don't want to pay taxes into our economy with your dumb coat. And then you don't want other business owners to flourish. And so they can pay taxes as well. Why are you hindering our economy from flowing well? Because that's what's happening here. Don't block another business owner. I would see that as, look, we don't really want to pay taxes, but let all these business owners come in so they can pay the taxes for us. If nothing else, let them all operate and then they can pay all these taxes that go along with it. We can just sit here and shut the hell up. No. They're blocking other people from having businesses. It's stupid. And for what? Because you're trying to carry out a personal vendetta against the city council? Either pay taxes or go sit your ass down, Scientology. They down there in Florida just messing up the entire economy of the state. For what? People can't own a t-shirt or coffee shop or a restaurant or a bar where they can pay taxes into the economy. But the code of Scientology don't want to do it either. Make it make sense. So you just don't want Clearwater's economy to flourish? Kick rocks. This is what the governor needs to be a lot more aggressive, just as aggressive as they are. We're not going to let a cult prosper here on U.S. soil and think they're not supposed to pay taxes. $3 billion? Man, y'all better kick rocks. That's what the governor should be saying in his speech every day. You can't make this up.
Places in the world, particularly the United States, where Scientology has tax exemption. It's exempt from certain taxes in this country as well.
This is so
you're
crazy.
paying for them, basically. How does Scientology handle criticism of the cult? It uses a procedure called fair game, which is to say that if you're opposed to Scientology, you do not deserve to live, and everything can and may be done to silence you. I was harassed on a daily basis for 16 years after I left Scientology and spoke out. There's a process called noisy investigation. It's written up in Scientology and approved by Ron Hubbard. And what a Scientology agent will do is they'll get a list of everybody you know, including your doctor, your dentist, your travel agent, whoever, your friends, your family. They will then contact every person on the list, whether directly or on the phone, and say, we're gathering information about John Atack or whoever and their criminal background. We found out some really interesting things already. I had this done to me, and my mother-in-law, one of my brothers-in-law, decided to talk to the private detective who'd been sent over from Los Angeles. He traveled as far as Australia to find people who'd known me. It was put about that I was a recovered heroin addict. I've never taken heroin in my life. I was a rapist. I'd attempted murder. I'd molested children. These are standard stories that are told about critics of Scientology. They're made up. I was told when the head...
So John Mappin lies like hell for fun now. Is that what I'm hearing? Scientology cult members just lie like hell for reasons because they don't like rejection. Nobody wants to be in your dumb cult. And then they're going to make up a bunch of lies. Oh, and they have mercs. They're murderers. Horrible things happen to people because you said something they didn't like. Because free speech in the First Amendment does not apply to them. They don't like our U.S. Constitution. They don't like people protesting. They don't like people coming up against them. Because low self-esteem and confidence and all. Like you would expect from narcissists who are bullies. Candice, this is right up your alley. You can't make this up. This man said he had people lying on him about being a heroin addict. What the hell? I literally, my eyes just kind of got big when I heard him say they will go out of their way and do whatever they can to silence you. Because for some reason, one person saying something they don't like is just the end of the world. Maybe another volcano is going to erupt. You got to be silenced because you said something bad about Scientology, the cult. What?
Done to silence you. I was harassed on a daily basis for 16 years after I left Scientology and spoke out. There's a process called noisy investigation. It's written up in Scientology and approved by Ron Hubbard. And what a Scientology agent...
Robert was a clown. What a damn clown he was. That's so evil. You got a noisy investigation or a nosy? What did he say? Is it noisy or nosy? Am I saying that wrong?
After I left Scientology and spoke out. There's a process called noisy investigation. It's written up in Scientology and approved by Ron Hubbard.
What?
And what a Scientology agent will do is they'll get a list of everybody you know, including your doctor, your dentist, your travel agent, whoever, your friends, your family. They will then contact every person on the list, whether directly or on the phone, and say, we're gathering information about John Atack or whoever and their criminal background. We found out some really interesting things already. I had this done to me, and my mother-in-law, one of my brothers-in-law, decided to talk to the private detective who'd been sent over from Los Angeles. He traveled as far as Australia to find people who'd known me. It was put about that I was a recovered heroin addict. I'd never taken heroin in my life. I was a rapist. I'd attempted murder. I'd molested children. These are standard stories that are told about critics of Scientology. They're made up. I was told when the head of their harassment.
You can't make this up. And then they go and forge documents to try to substantiate all of this. Because if you go and try to look to see if there's a real criminal record, what are you going to find? So they have to forge these documents and make this stuff up. And yet they don't go to jail for forgery, for fraud. And then you can imagine, okay, if this is what happens when you say something out loud, imagine trying to sue their ass for defamation. You see why this cult cannot flourish in the United States of America. They don't care about our constitutional rights to free speech and expression or the right to protest. They don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to add to our economy. What the F? They act like the bullies. This is crazy.
Division in the UK defected after a conversation with me. And she told me that they'd spent £2 million harassing me up until that point. It was incredibly destructive. It took me 17 years to recover my physical health. All through litigation, they sued me in America, they sued me here, and through legal costs, I was bankrupted. My marriage fell apart, my health came apart. It took me about 17 years to get back to a place where I could.
Are you asking me if they copyrighted this? Someone copyrighted a religion called Scientology sucks, lives, can stop them from using Spotlight. Are you asking me if they copyrighted that? You asked me to respond. I don't know. Did they copyright it? I have not heard of that. If I'm not mistaken, this is one of the men who were locked in the basement of the international base for weeks with a bucket and made to count molding books and document the count. What? They kidnapped a disabled woman out of Oklahoma to get her SSI check. Her family and the state police and rangers had to get her out. Y'all, this is crazy. Why are they doing this? Why do they kidnap people? Leave people alone. If somebody doesn't like you, okay, then you don't go and kidnap them. You leave them alone. Ignore them. Good grief. What type of upbringing did L. Ron Hubbard have? He was one of those kids where he never got his ass whooped. You can't make this up. They put her sister in the hospital in a coma. Oh my God. I don't know if you're asking me to what you respond to. Respond to something. I have no idea what you're talking about, Linda. You asked me. I don't know what you're asking me. They just drain resources, never contribute. Exactly. It seems like that's what's happening. Yeah, this is crazy.
Good. Stand up again. What is the Celebrity Centre? The Celebrity Centre was started by a woman called Yvonne Gillum, who became Yvonne Jensch in Los Angeles.
They can't handle
in the 1970s. And the target was to find celebrities, recruit celebrities, and use them to promote Scientology. That's how John Travolta and Chick Corea and quite a lot of other people became involved. It's worth saying that as many celebrities as they've managed to keep hold of, they've also lost. So Van Morrison, for example, and Leonard Cohen were both briefly involved in Scientology. There is a rule in Scientology that if you upset a celebrity, then you are in trouble. So these people are treated with kid gloves. What?
Candace, see? Nothing can happen to you if you just come on out and say you joined Scientology. Oh my God. You know, Candace loves to dox people. That'll be right up her alley for real. These people commit real crimes and never answer for it. You got to have multiple police departments go and get somebody out and they don't go to jail for the rest of their life. That is a problem. That is a major, major problem. You can't make this up. The moment he said they go out their way to silence you, as in taking a person's life, you know, so they'll be willing to commit murder and unaliving people. Yeah. Because we're still wondering where is Shelley Miscavige, right? This is crazy.
What happens to children inside the church? That's variable. If you are born to a family who are public Scientologists, then you may have a fairly normal upbringing in that you'll be in society and you'll go to an ordinary school. But you may also go to a Scientology school where the principles of Scientology will be used in your education. This is not very effective. I've spoken to children, adults now who grew up in this organization, where there'd be one adult looking after 80 children. About 50% of the kids who grow up in Scientology will leave. By the time they're 16, they will not want to stay. Quite a lot are thrown out if they cause any sort of trouble. They'll just be got rid of. What is a silent birth? In Scientology, it's expected that women will give birth without making a noise. Hubbard put forward the idea that if we're knocked unconscious, or during unconsciousness, we're still recording what's being said around us, and this can act in a kind of moronic way through the hypnotic mind, what he called the reactive mind.
What?
And so he put forward the idea that birth should be in silence so that the baby doesn't receive what he called engrams, these traumatic.
You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. The baby is listening to what's going on in the womb. You know, if you put headphones on your belly, the baby can still get those sound waves in there. Sometimes that's how the baby identifies with the mother. Because, you know, the entire time the baby is growing in the womb, it can recognize the mother's voice, certain distinct voices around them. Babies aren't dumb. This is coming from somebody who never went to medical school. L. Ron Hubbard did not go to medical school. The hell he talking about? You can't make this stuff up. It's his defying science.
Memories. It's a nonsense because the reality is, and we know this, that we don't register memories when we're unconscious. We're not physically capable of it. It's demonstrated by if you ask a boxer who's been knocked out what happened.
I mean, it goes to science. L. Ron Hubbard did not read a science book. Did he fell out of school? He must have flunked out. You can't make this up. He didn't use science or logic at all. Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
The 10 seconds up to him being knocked out, he won't remember. Do you have to pay to be a member? And if yes, how much? Yes, you either go and work for them 90 hours a week on a rice and beans diet where you're no longer allowed to have children. You're forced to have abortions, in fact, these days. Or if
you're forced to have abortions. And these people sit here and try to appeal to those who believe in abortions. These same conservatives that go around saying we don't believe in abortions. They actually force people to have abortions. And they go and lobby conservatives, politicians and stuff who don't believe in abortions at all. Pam Bondi is speaking at their events. You can't make this up. She doesn't care that they will go out their way to unalive somebody. But Pam Bondi will go speak at their events. See, they know who to mess with and who not to mess with. Pam Bondi will go at a speaking event for Scientology. But meanwhile, women are being forced to have abortions there. Is Pam Bondi going to say something about that? You can't make this up. Yeah, this is crazy. When is John Mappy going to have a candid conversation? Candice, they're forcing people to have abortions in Scientology. Are you going to say anything about that? She probably won't care. She won't have a problem with that at all. She'll probably just come out and say, well, that's a lie. They don't do that. Can't make this up.
To have abortions, in fact, these days. Or if you've got the money, you pay for it. And the prices are very variable because you pay by the hour. To get through all of Scientology, you're probably talking
goodness
in the region of £500,000 now to get to the level that I got to. I didn't pay that much. There's a prohibition on free Scientology. The idea is if you're given something for free, you won't appreciate it, so you should be charged. At the moment, I'm not sure what their highest price is, probably about.
No, because it's just the way that they make money. Because they scams, it's a scam artist. If you're giving something for free, you won't appreciate it. Try my luck, David Miscavige, Yola Napoleon, angry little ass. Try my luck. Why don't you try that theory? Give me a house for free and see if I won't appreciate the hell out of it. You can't make this up. Who told them that? They had to come from a demon in hell.
$500 an hour to sit in one of those sessions.
It's a way for them to make money.
Recruiting is free. Once you've been recruited, they'll sell you a £5 or £10 course. And they'll say, we've got lots of these courses. You don't have to do the expensive courses. But as soon as they can, they'll put you into a hard sell situation. And the presumption, you just force somebody through to the next level. I've met people who borrowed hundreds of thousands of pounds so they could do Scientology and then found they couldn't repay it. And of course, they'd be told by the registrar or salesperson, Scientology will increase your abilities so much that you'll be able to earn this money in no time. It's not true. I met one guy who'd spent $400,000 in a week.
What?
And at the end of the week was admitted to a hospital with a heart attack. I'd probably have a heart attack if I'd spent that much money. What do you know about...
Wait, who is this person spent $400,000? $400,000? And they don't pay taxes on this. I just want y'all to be reminded, they do not pay taxes on that money. All they sales, they don't pay taxes on it. But, they'll go and kidnap you if you get mad about it. You can't make this up.
Shelly Miscavige is David Miscavige's lawful wife. She went missing years ago. Nobody knows where she is. She's not made an appearance in years.
This is crazy.
The journalist Tony Ortega has been trying to find her. And as yet, we have no idea where she is. She is one of the disappeared. Is there a uniform? Now, this is coming from somebody who wants to join, and they're going, if that's a good uniform, I'll get in. There is a uniform. It's the US Coast Guard's uniform, in fact. So not very exciting. Members of the Sea Organization wear this uniform.
Did I hear what you said about Shelly Miscavige? Nobody knows where she is.
She's not made an appearance in years. The journalist Tony Ortega has been trying to find her. And as yet, we have no idea where she is. She is one of the disappeared. Is there a uniform? Now, this is coming from somebody who wants to join, and they're going, if that's a good uniform, I'll get in. There is a uniform. It's the US Coast Guard's uniform, in fact. So not very exciting. Members of the Sea Organization wear this uniform. So they also wear campaign ribbons, which is against the law in this country and in the United States. But no.
What the hell? Wait a minute. Wait, what? So they're impersonating the military? What the heck? Do y'all see the flags?
Members of the Sea Organization wear this uniform. So they also wear campaign ribbons, which is against the law in this country and in the United States, but nobody prosecutes them for it.
Wait a minute. They don't get, of course, they don't get prosecuted for it. You can't make this stuff up. Y'all, look at this. Look at these ribbons. You see this on decorated servicemen. You don't see stuff like this. This is so crazy. This is what these officers in Scientology, the Sea Orgs, wear. And they have all these decorated ribbons, like they're high-ranking Marine Corps or something. You can't make this up. Hey, Magnificent, how you doing? The Sea Orgs wear uniform. I just posted the link to the Scientology videos. It was copyrighted. Okay, so you were trying to tell me it was copyrighted. I got you. Okay. You can't make this up. I actually saw a video of it. How will you earn it back? There's no way to earn a penny back. Exactly. So that person just gave up $400,000 and they have no way of getting that money back. And yet they let people walk around like this. So they're impersonating the military. Because they're not members of the military. That Sea Org thing is part of a cult, not a part of our U.S. Armed Forces. This is how they walk. They walk around with these ribbons on them, like they're real military person, like they in the military. You can't make this up, and they don't face prosecution. Pam Bondi, you suck. You should be charged with a lot of things for letting this happen. You go speak at their events and you don't even think to ask about this? You can't be this daft, Pam Bondi. You're an idiot if you sit here and let these people impersonate our military with these damn ribbons in a coat. You can't make this up.
They also wear campaign ribbons, which is against the law in this country and in the United States, but nobody prosecutes them for it. They're not actually for having fought battles or been wounded or anything. Can you be a Christian and a Scientologist? No. Hubbard frequently said that you could practice any religion and be a Scientologist, but you can, of course, only practice it if you believe in reincarnation, if you believe you've lived on other planets, and if you're willing to accept, as you get further into Scientology, that Hubbard dismisses Christ as an implant. Christ is a hypnotic invention. There never was a Christ, according to Hubbard. He also says that heaven is a fabrication and that the crucifixion and Christ is just a control mechanism. At the very end of his life,
a control mechanism coming from a cult leader who will have you kidnapped because you said mean words that they don't like. You'll come up kidnapped and missing. Probably unalive to murk. Because you said something they didn't like. They take your money from you by saying, oh, you want to appreciate free stuff. So that's why we charge you for every little thing. But yet, they make people work over 100 hours in a week and only give them $100 for a week. Slave wages, because for some reason, you're not supposed to earn money either. It's so, man, this is so disgusting. But oh no, if you believe in heaven, you're being controlled. Coming from a cult leader that controls people with fear. Fear that they're going to come after you. Fear that they're going to kidnap you. Fear that they're going to take your life. You can't even protest. They get mad at protesters, because reasons. As if we don't have constitutional rights and protections here. They act as if they override that. And yet, if you believe in heaven, you're being controlled. It's just a control mechanism. Boy, the hypocrisy of it all. Y'all know narcissists don't compute hypocrisy. They don't care about hypocrisy at all. Narcissists are narcissists. They only care about what they think and what they want.
If you're willing to accept, as you get further into Scientology, that Hubbard dismisses Christ as an implant. Christ is a hypnotic invention. There never was a Christ, according to Hubbard. He also says that heaven is a fabrication and the crucifixion and Christ is just a control mechanism. At the very end of his life, he released and it only came out 2 years after he died, and only a handful of people saw it. But he wrote a thing where he claimed that he was himself the Antichrist. So if you're a Christian and you want to...
I can believe it. You know what the Antichrist is? In hell. So it's not far-fetched to say for L. Ron Hubbard to go to hell. I mean, he believes he's the Antichrist, exactly where he is. Go to hell, L. Ron Hubbard. That's what the Antichrist will be anyway. Y'all, this dumb cult does not believe that Jesus Christ is a real person. As if he never walked this earth. They believe that heaven is a way to control people. And L. Ron Hubbard believes he's the Antichrist. Because the devil is the one that gives rise to this Antichrist. And they're in hell. So L. Ron Hubbard is in hell. Ron Hubbard is in hell. Then
get into something that was developed by the Antichrist.
You make this up.
Maybe. Is it true they record sessions and blackmail you with them? Yes, all auditing sessions are recorded. In fact, nowadays they're often filmed. Blackmail you with them.
Their leader is the Antichrist.
Whether it still happens, I don't know. But there certainly have been cases where things that were given in the greatest confidence, and you will end up saying every embarrassing.
So does that mean David Miscavige believes he's the Antichrist now, since he's the leader? Wouldn't it be a thing where if the original leader believed he was the Antichrist, that any other leader that comes behind that would have to believe the same thing? Or are they hypocritical to that? How does that go? Because if Ron Hubbard was the Antichrist, he was the leader, shouldn't David Miscavige be seen as the Antichrist now, since he's the new leader? Yeah, that sounds about right to me. So David Miscavige now is the new Antichrist, right? I think that's something that should be passed down from leader to leader. If you're going to be the leader of this dumb cult, Scientology, and the original belief that he was the Antichrist, why is it hard belief for David Miscavige to be the Antichrist? Why is that not something that he's repeating? He wants to be the leader. Then he's the next Antichrist, right? Shouldn't that be the concept? They can be consistent with that. They can be consistent with at least one thing, to which we can all agree. The leader of this cult is the Antichrist. He's the spawn of Satan. I think we can all agree to that. Yeah, we can all agree to that. So why is it David Miscavige claiming to be the next spawn of Satan? Can't make this up.
Thing you've ever done at some point that will go on the record with them. I think for many people, it's just the threat that it may be revealed.
Yeah, they sounded
many people have come to me over the years and said they had a terrible experience with Scientology and they'd love to do something about it, but they don't want their children to be able to read about their sex lives when they were teenagers, something to that effect. So sometimes it's just that people are frightened it might be revealed, but there have been cases. What do you know about the Hole? The Hole was set up by David Miscavige at his secret base in Gilman Hot Springs in California. This is a huge property where you have pressure pads all around the inside of the property of the fence, and the razor wire faces inward, so you can't climb out. The Hole is placed there. It's a double trailer, so 2 mobile home sections, and Miscavige started putting his executives into it.
Can't even get mental health.
Mike Rinder, in his book A Billion Years, says that at peak there were 140 Scientology executives in there, sharing 2 toilets and being allowed to go to the shower for 30 seconds a day or something in another building. I think it ran for 8 years. And all of the top executives of Scientology, they'd be taken out to go to public meetings with their uniforms on. Then they go back to be in the Hole because Miscavige was displeased with them. It's Scientology's gulag. The problem, if law enforcement become involved, is if they say to you, are you here of your own free will? And you say yes, then there's nothing much they can do. And if you say no, you'll be thrown out of Scientology forever. So,
okay, well, good riddance. I mean, because the leader is the Antichrist. Why would you want to stay? Hell just is something else. Ron Hubbard is finding out. You can't make this up. Just say, okay, are you here at your own free will? No. And they probably are going to keep kidnapping people. I might want to find Shelley Miscavige as well. You can't make this up. They have to have multiple police departments to help pull somebody out of Scientology. Just let them go. Accept the rejection. Y'all, this is so egregious. It's disturbing. They don't give you mental health. They force people to have abortions. And yet, this is something that they lobby over to conservatives, to people who believe that abortions are wrong. Pam Bondi is doing speaking events with them. Boy, this is priceless.
It was said the largest raids in the history of the FBI were in Scientology in July 1977. And Lawrence Wright, in Going Clear, wondered why was it that the people who are in the prison detention force, the rehabilitation project force, why didn't they just leave? And he not understood that this is not an ordinary situation. They knew that if they left, they would be labeled as suppressive persons and would not be allowed to continue in Scientology. So the amount of programming is very profound. Are you ashamed of your past? No. I wasn't a living member of Scientology. Nobody that I recruited into Scientology is still with it. And a few thousand people have left because of me. There are people who did awful and brutal things in Scientology. And, while we can say, I was manipulated, I wasn't in control of what I did, and that is a fair point, I think we all have to take responsibility for what we've done. Frequently and normally in this organization, people are sleep deprived for days on end. They're forced to stay awake. There have been situations where on the rehabilitation project force, which I mentioned, the labor camp, that people they're given leftover food. Now, this isn't a place where rice and beans is the normal diet, so they get the leftovers. You'd often find cockroaches in the food or maggots, things like that. And you either ate that or you didn't eat. Part of that process was also what's called pig's birthing, where you would no longer be allowed a mattress. And David Miscavige reintroduced this idea. So you could be on a rehabilitation project force usually for a couple of years. You could only speak when spoken to. You had to run between your jobs. You had to wear black or a black armband to show your status. You cleaned the toilets. If you defied any order, you were told you have to run a lap, and you'd be working an incredibly long day. You then have the practice of overboarding that Ron Hubbard introduced in 1968, where for the slightest infraction aboard his ship during training, you would be thrown overboard. And that doesn't sound too bad. And that would be from 25 to 40 feet high. You might not be able to swim. You'd be blindfolded. Your ankles would be tied together, and you'd be thrown into the sewage-full waters of Corfu Harbour when he started this, because other boats would be.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is, man. Oh, wow. And no one wants to believe that Scientology is a cult. Literally trying to take over Clearwater. No one wants to believe that. Pam Bondi is going to speaking engagements. This is all the stuff that is happening under David Miscavige. The next Antichrist. Because why not own that title? I mean, if Ron Hubbard called himself the Antichrist, why isn't David Miscavige doing the same thing? At least be consistent in your evil. This is madness. Madness. He threw people overboard of a boat.
Letting out their human sewage into the harbour. So people had this forced upon them, and there were the people who did it to other people. How do Scientologists recruit new members? Usually by word of mouth. Usually it'll be a friend. But they go out on the street with a little clipboard and they ask inane questions. The ones I used were, what would you most like to be? What would you most like to do? What would you most like to have? And once you've established rapport or conversation with somebody, you ask them if they'd like a free personality test. And in they go. Do they keep people against their will? Yes, that has happened. There was a case in America where 11 Scientologists, including L. Ron Hubbard's wife, Mary Sue, were sent to prison. And one of the things they were found guilty of was false imprisonment, where they kidnapped a man called Michael Meisner because he was going to tell on them, and they held him captive for months. Do Scientologists prey on the vulnerable? Yes, but a specific type of vulnerable. One of the other awful things about Scientology, and something I wasn't really aware of, is that they don't recruit disabled people. Hubbard said, we're here to make the able more able. So they won't prey on people who have a psychiatric background, because that's got them into trouble in the past. They won't prey upon people who are physically disabled.
So if you say that you have PTSD, you might be in the clear. You can't make this up. Dear Scientology, Lady Luck Club is out of her mind. Don't even try it. Kick rocks and go to hell, the end. You can't make this up. So you have to say you have a whole mental disorder to keep them from trying to recruit you or be physically disabled. I honestly would rather they not bother them. Good grief. They kidnap people. They have people unalive, people hurt and harmed, thrown over ships, slave wages. I mean, you can't make this up. This is how cults operate. So the fact that they don't take it physically disabled, I'm okay with that. But, how can you be okay with them forcing women to have abortions? Are you serious? What the heck is man? Good grief. This is the dumbest cult ever.
They really, if they can, as with any group, they want the smartest and best of people, and they get some of them. They had some quite remarkable people. In fact, that a number of members of Parliament and the Senate have been Scientologists is interesting. Who did you believe you were in a past life? I wish I hadn't actually pulled this one out because I'm going to sound stupid, but there you go. I believed I'd been Henri Matisse, the painter. I also, for a while, believed I'd been the Buddha. So, bit of a narcissist, really. What can I say? We later found that as there were millions of spirits in us, I probably could have had one of the Buddhas and one of Henri Matisse's. But what was the best part of it? Anything you missed? There was a tremendous sense of camaraderie and the idea that you were changing the world. And when you go from that to realizing you're in Sainsbury's buying a bag of potatoes, yesterday I was saving the world, now I'm buying a bag of potatoes. It's a bit of a letdown. Do you have to abandon your friends and family? Only if they don't like Scientology. If somebody complains, yes, you're meant to disconnect from them. Do Scientologists believe in the afterlife?
Just like any other cult. That's what cults do. Cults make you disconnect because, they have little egos and no pride and self-esteem or confidence or anything. So they can't handle rejection. So the idea of someone saying something negative about them, that somehow that hurts their feelings so bad to where they want people to disappear and disconnect. Oh, you're going to tell on us? You're an evil cult that forced people to have abortions, kick rocks. That's the least of your worry. I'm just more baffled as to why David Miscavige is not claiming he's the next Antichrist, if that's what Ron Hubbard did. Be consistent. You're evil. Be consistent. Go all the way there. That way people can really hate you guts. Can't make this up.
Yes, they believe in reincarnation. But unlike Buddhists and Hindus who have the fear of the eternal return, the wheel of suffering, it's a horrible thing to be reincarnated. This is more the new age kind of thing. Oh, I'll drop my body and then I can do it in my next lifetime, which means the suicide rate is much higher in Scientology than the world around because people will give up and think they have another life coming. And that is my experience. Scientology has about 10 times the suicide rate of the normal population.
Scientology has about a 10 times the S rate. Yo, what the hell? Because they signed over that $1 billion lifetime contract. God, they don't care about people at all. They see human beings as encased volcanic lava rocks. I mean, they can't even name the volcano though that Xenu landed in.
People will give up and think they have another life coming. And that is my experience. Scientology has about 10 times the suicide rate of the normal population.
Disturbing.
They don't believe in heaven. Hubbard went there and said it was made from cardboard.
For me, as a kid from the 90s.
Oh, man. Yo. Oh, my God. Hold on. Oh, that's something else. That is something else. I want to see where we at with time here. I definitely want to get into Jenna Miscavige's video. This is the niece of David Miscavige. Y'all, this is the one where she put up the middle finger. This is why this was a former Scientologist we got through listening to, exposing inside secrets. And that's why it's imperative to listen to these interviews, to listen to these people talk about their experiences. Because I'm hearing stuff from him that I didn't hear from Leah Remini because they did two different things, right? One was a public figure and she was, was she born into it? I think her parents had joined it when she was a kid. But for her to go into the spotlight and become a public figure, and they still treated her like crap. They treated her like crap. Leah Remini was the only one who really tried to go out of her way to do something about Shelley Miscavige being missing. She filed the missings report on her behalf. But to see other people's perspective, this man here, the former scientist, man, it's, oh my God. The former Scientologist here. It was just to hear the things that go on for someone who's giving a different perspective, keeping people held hostage, they're impersonating military servicemen, Jesus. And they do all of this knowing that they're not going to face any trouble at all. I never thought I would sit here and hear how thousands of people in a cult can literally get away with breaking the law. And Pam Bondi is speaking at events and does nothing at all, as if somehow we could not overpower them if we needed to. There are more U.S. citizens in this country than there are Scientologists, but yet they're scared of them. Good grief! We don't have a reason to be cowards when it comes to them. We have armies. Like, it's that simple. You would think the feds would be all over this, and especially the idea of someone being missing for almost 30 years. But see, that's what David Miscavige, the next Antichrist here, want people to feel. He wants people to see, if my wife comes up missing for almost 30 years and I can make her disappear, what you think I could do to you? It's like ruling with fear. He's doing that to keep people in line. But he failed to realize nobody cares about his damn ego. Don't care about you. You're a cult leader. Cults should not be allowed to thrive and flourish. You can put church in front of anything. I can put the Church of Lady Luck Club. Does that mean I should be sitting here kidnapping people? Absolutely insane. All because a short little man can't handle rejection. Man, this is disgusting. All right, y'all, this is Jenna Miscavige. Let's get to it.
Here and give a little update on my life, what's been going on. I haven't posted a real video to this channel since, I believe, like maybe even July of last year. It's something I've been wanting to do. I've never intended on going off of YouTube. Yeah. I just had so many life things going on that I simply didn't have time. But the way I look at it is that my TikTok is a great way to get out brief bursts of knowledge about Scientology in bite-sized pieces, where my YouTube channel is more humanizing Scientology and humanizing the people who Scientology has affected. And I am doing that with myself and my own story and the things that I experienced when I was there and the things that I experienced after. And my YouTube channel has a special place in my heart because it feels like my audience knows me. They don't just know me as Jenna, the niece of Scientology's leader. They know me as a person, and they stay for that. And so that's why it's really important for me to develop that. I also see it as a place where people who are introduced to me through TikTok and Instagram and Facebook or wherever else, this is a place where they can go and do a further deep dive. And actually, one of the things that gives me a little bit of anxiety about it is that I really haven't built up my channel in the way that I want to. And it's just because I've been so much busy. I have been so busy with life, with fucking drama, with traveling across the country constantly. So many influences in my life that have made it very hard, like just to have a moment of peace, to be honest. And lately, with certain parts of my life completely blowing up, it's actually been a great opportunity for me to rebuild from scratch and sort of analyze what are my own opinions, what is my own creativity, what is my goal with my channel, what is my goal with my life. And so I wanted to come on here today and talk about that, give you some updates, and just sort of say where I want to go with this. And yeah, hopefully you guys are interested in that. If not, then fuck off. Just joking. Okay. All right. So I have been going to therapy, and it's actually been really great. I've been lucky enough to have immediately found a therapist that is really cool. And the importance of finding someone who you like, as many of you know, as many of you guys have asserted to me in the comments, is huge. And to be honest, if you're at a time when you really need a good therapist and you can't find one, it's kind of disastrous and horrible. So thankfully this time, the Lord Jesus or Xenu or whoever has blessed me with having an easy time finding a good therapist. And I am grateful. I also had a psych eval done. And guess what, you guys? Really good news. I do not have a cluster B personality disorder. I'm not bipolar. I don't have borderline personality disorder. So any of you all who insinuated that or announced that you think that is true, you were wrong. Go fuck yourselves. And also to any of you.
No. Oh, good for you, girl. Y'all remember now, we just got through watching the interview of the former Scientologist where he said that people lied on him, created some fake criminal history about him using heroin and all of this other stuff. So when you try to get out of the cult, they come up with all these lies about you. They try to lie on you having committed criminal activity and, all the things. I remember he said that now. He said they come up with all kinds of stuff, said that he was a molester, PDF for all this stuff. And he had murdered somebody, all these things. So I can imagine all the things that Jenna Miscavige has had said about her that were false. Where her antichrist of an uncle has probably made up horrible things about her mental status just to try to discredit her. And the fact that she has to say, okay, I went, got a test done. I don't have any of that, so you can kiss my ass. Like, this is what people have to do to clear their name just to get out of this dumb cult of Scientology. Because they refuse to just let people go. Just let people be. They don't like you. So what? We say it's a cult. So what? If just let it be. It is what it is. We have free speech in this country. This is the list that they will go through to try to discredit people who want to get out of the cult. So Jenna just probably felt like she had to go and get a test done. Good for her. Because if they don't believe in mental health in the Scientology cult, they clearly they don't care how anyone feels. And you guys heard the last former Scientologists to say that the S rates are higher in Scientology because people just believe they're going to come back in another lifetime. And you can imagine all of the abuse that they put people through, especially the kids, where they end up having some horrible, mental health issues from that. And for her to walk out of this and say, I don't have a cluster B, I don't have none of that. So y'all can F off. Man, that's good news. I'm just saying. She's doing exactly what needs to be done. Go get some mental health treatment if you need it. Don't let a dumbass cult dictate you getting mental health treatment. Especially when the leader is a short little Napoleon complex of an evil Antichrist man that has access to $3 billion and doesn't want to pay taxes and add to our U.S. economy. Don't let them swindle you out of getting mental health treatment. So good for her. I'm so glad she went and had that done.
Who insinuated that if somebody did have a cluster B personality disorder, that they couldn't possibly be telling the truth, or that their view on things couldn't possibly be real. Also, go fuck yourself. Especially those of you who actually are experiencing mental anguish and mental health issues and are on meds for it, and then are demonizing other people for having the self-awareness to say, maybe I need help with this. Anyways, to get back to the important part of this, I am not in need of any meds. I've actually been doing much better after making certain changes in my life. And yeah, the amount of bravery and self-awareness it takes for somebody in a relationship, in a friendship, to say, this isn't going well, maybe I need help, maybe I'm part of the problem, and having that be weaponized against them, especially by somebody who's had similar struggles to that, as proof that they are wrong or that they are at fault. Their willingness to say, maybe the problem is me, having that be weaponized is one of the saddest, sickest things that people can do. And having watched that in the last few months in real time has been pretty fucking disappointing and disgusting. So as it turns out, I'm just a normal person reacting pretty normally to some insane circumstances after experiencing some things that many people never have to experience at all in their lives. And yeah, I want to thank the many people who have both supported me.
Oh my God, I want to so interview Jenna Miscavige so bad. I ain't seeing that she can get that middle finger and say F off. I really want, I reached out to her on Instagram, you all. I'm still waiting for a response. I would love for her to come to the LLC and just share her story and her journey, encouraging people to go and get mental health treatment, to go and get, tests done, because of what she went through. It's not, like she said, it's not normal. Everybody's not in Scientology, right? She's the niece of the leader of Scientology. There are real people that are in Scientology that don't want to be there. that are going through horrific things. They force people to have abortions. I mean, you can't. People are kidnapped and unalived and hurt and harmed and forced to work in basements over 100-hour work weeks where they only get paid 40 some dollars. This is what real human beings are going through. The S rate is higher. People are taking their own lives and they're doing all this stuff because they believe that they're going to come back in another lifetime. You can't make this stuff up. So on our next Scientology Sunday, Kyla has sent us 3 videos so far. I see 3. And we'll check them out in our next Scientology Sunday segment, because this is something else. Yeah, this is why we got to keep talking about this damn cult, because it's affecting and ruining real lives out here. People are really going through some horrible things and struggling, and I'm hoping anybody that gets out of a cult do seek medical treatment. At least get the test done. Let that be the first thing you do. You get out of a cult, go and get some mental health treatment, because the brainwashing, the mind manipulation, the control, the abuse that people go through, you know, you might need to get some help with it. Go get some help. We encourage that. Talk it out. Because it's not normal. It's not right. And nobody should have to be forced to go through stuff like that. Nobody should have to experience that in their lifetime. You deserve to live in peace and happiness. Not to be subjected to somebody because they can't stand rejection themselves. So she did the right thing. She went out and she got some help. I'm so happy. Serge Delmar interview will make you cry. Wow. Yeah, they're very brave, because I wonder how you can have a life after having it controlled by this evil cult. Yeah, they are. Jenna's a rock star. Read her book. Oh, yeah. I sure will. And you guys, listen, share information in the comments so that others can go out and read. Drop the name of her book, the title of her book in the chat, and that way people can see it. And they go out, and hopefully someone listening that might be in Scientology will be inspired to get out and know that there's a way out. You do not deserve to be stuck in a cult and to have a cult dictate your life. You don't deserve that. If you want out, get out. Go get some help and live your life in peace and happiness. Reclaim your life. Make all the money you want to make. You don't have to pay for the dumb auditing sessions, because it does nothing. The original leader claimed to be the Antichrist. That's evil in any sense. I don't, whether you believe in Christianity or not. It's just, if most people understand the Antichrist to be just an evil figure. Who brags about that? It's insane. It's insane. I would love to have Jenna on the show. I really would. I would love to have her come up and talk to us in the LLC and share her story. So, you guys, if you come across her on Instagram, encourage her, let her know LLC is trying to reach out to you. She would love the interview. Man, this is something else.
Publicly and privately, during a time when I was questioning everything about myself, where I was getting very little sleep, and there were people who were slinging mud, who were using me for this agenda, throwing my name out there for this other agenda. And if I have not responded to you, it's just because I'm absolutely terrified that anything I ever say to you will get used against me eventually, because that's just sort of been a little bit of how life has been lately. But I do appreciate you, even if I haven't said it to you directly. This isn't a Scientology update. This is a me update, because in the end, there's been some slinging about, their channel isn't about Scientology. I'm the only one who talks about Scientology, and so on. My channel is about me, and insinuating that somebody's channel needs to only be about Scientology in order for it to have value or worth or to be creditable is very destructive. And it's also very convenient. If you don't want to talk about your personal life because vulnerability makes you uncomfortable, or because you don't feel like your particular insight is valuable enough to talk about, then that's fine. That's on you. But doesn't mean that everyone else needs to do what you're doing. It doesn't mean that Anybody who's left Scientology only needs to stick to Scientology news or assigned talking points. People are free to talk about what they want. And I personally believe that someone can tell all the stories they want about Scientology and all the facts about Scientology, but without bringing a human voice to who Scientology is affecting, what those long-term effects are, it kind of falls flat eventually. I also very much believe that in life in general, as we're healing, we need to go through moments of deep dive into what's happened in our past. And then at some point, if you're doing too much therapy or I don't know, something like that, it can get to a point where it's like, okay, I need to live in the present so that I can get perspective on what's happening now, so that I even know what my struggles are, so that I know how what I'm learning here applies to this thing. And I believe that that's why you see people who go onto YouTube and talk about Scientology on, and then they go, I need a break. I don't want to do this anymore. And they go out and they live life. And they think that it's because there's something wrong with them, that there's this big roller coaster occurring constantly. And it isn't something wrong. It's very natural. It's all just different coping mechanisms. We, at some point, are doing okay enough in life and are happy enough in life where we have the strength to dig into the past if we need to, if we want to. And then so we do that. And then we come back up for air and enjoy the freedom of the life that we have. Or sometimes our life gets too messy and too affected by the past. And then we have to go back and, see how the past is affecting our current life and try to make our life better through that. No one way is correct. We kind of need both of those things. And I've kind of realized that it's a bit of a pendulum. And I want to honor both ends of the pendulum on that channel. I want to honor both ends of that pendulum swing on my channel without acting like it's a mistake to swing either way, because it's not. It's just human, and that's kind of how it is. And maybe at some point you find a place where you're doing both at the same time. I don't really know. I guess we'll see. One of the things I've been really grateful for in the last month is the amount of people who have reached out to me who have been brave enough to be vulnerable, saying that I also suffer from a crippling fear of abandonment. Now, as it honestly turns out in my therapy, I don't actually have a crippling fear of abandonment. I was having a normal reaction to something that was occurring. And so pathologizing something that's natural and something that is really just being mishandled isn't right either. But my point is that people don't just need Scientology news or updates. People who are living in the world right now, after having grown up in Scientology, they need help putting words to things that they're experiencing. They need someone to put words to it because they're experiencing that thing too. It just helps them see that they're not alone. And although ex-Scientologists aren't my only, or even the vast majority of my audience, the vast majority of people in this world can relate to going through hard things in life. Everybody can, to be frank. And so it's actually not that different of an audience. And so that's something that is really at the crux of who I am and what I care about. The truth is that my main strength is not talking about Scientology. My main strength is talking and thinking. And Scientology is a way for me to do that. I love talking to people philosophically. I'm not even promising that I'm good at it. I just really like doing it. That's why I want to have a YouTube channel. That's why I want to do this at all. It's not just about Scientology for me. It's about characters and learning their stories and thinking about things in different ways. And it's about being able to make a living doing that. It's about standing up for what I believe in and making changes in the world that I think will be for the better, that I can do because of my unique experiences in Scientology. So my point is kind of that there are so many ways to address the problem and issue of Scientology. There is protesting, there is exposing, there is talking about healing, there is getting justice for survivors, whether it's through lawsuits. There are ways to have laws be passed that can help improve chances for survivors to get justice. There are ways that Scientology is currently introducing itself into the world and sneaking into schools, dentist office, acting classes all around. There's ways to warn those people, to give those people options, to expose that sort of strategy that Scientology has. There's so many ways to address Scientology and to get to them, and I want to do all of those ways. And this might be part of my undiagnosed ADHD, but I want to have my fingers in all those pies because I can't just do one thing over and over again. I get bored too quickly. And also a big thing that I've learned over the years is that everything needs balance. So we can talk about these deep, dark aspects of Scientology and hear someone's story that's crushing. And then we can protest and kind of troll a little bit to empower the people who are actually protesting And protesting can also be used to let people know who are there how they can get help. It can go all of these ways. All these things are valid. And I kind of want to have my finger in all of them. And maybe I'll do that and see which one sticks. But I'm just reinvigorated about this, and I'm re-excited. And to be honest, I'm just re-excited about life at this point. Like, there was sort of like a spell or like a haze over me that was kind of like horrible, like making me feel like I didn't realize it until it went away, but it was making me depressed. And I knew that I was going through hard things in my life. I knew I was having conflict, and I knew that that conflict would upset me at that time. What I didn't realize is how much it dampened everything else in my life. It dampened how much fun I had going on a walk, on getting coffee, on speaking to my kids. And to be honest, like, there was a very, very dark period where I felt like I wouldn't get through that. And as it turns out, it was only a few days. And then all of a sudden, after making certain changes, I felt different. There were still really hard moments of crying and feeling loss, but the rest of my life, where it was like at a 2 before, it became like baseline 7. And that is my personality. My personality is to wake up every day honestly excited for life. I have too many interests to not be excited about life. I am too curious to not be excited about life. When people say they don't have any hobbies, I have like 1,000 hobbies that I could individually get so obsessed with that I can never get anything done. So it's nice to feel like myself again. It's been really nice falling in love with where I live again and seeing what a beautiful city I live in, and reconnecting with so many friends who, it was almost like when I was going through this hard time, I couldn't even fully connect with them when I did, because there were certain things I didn't want to talk about or be judged about. Having this deeper relationship with my friends and being able to spend more time with them, and honestly be able to fall back in love with my own house, my own space, with the things that I love, like decorating, and the things that make me, have been, it's actually like, I'm lucky. I feel extremely lucky. And to be frank, it makes me feel rich. Whenever I really love something, I'm always like, it makes me feel rich. I don't know what that feeling is, but it makes me feel rich. And the people who are supporting me through this, who are literally taking me to places that I love, showing me new things, it's been amazing. And I'm so grateful for that. It makes all the difference in my life. Also, just simply not having to be in a fight with absolutely everybody all the time has been fucking life-changing for me. Like, I'm not even conflict avoidant. I'm telling you guys, like, I like a good argument or a back and forth, playful or not playful. I'm not afraid of conflict, but I'm also not somebody who has so many fights with everyone. Like, I'm keen to work things out with people. I don't like there being bad blood. So just stepping away from and not engaging in just a bunch of bullshit that's been going on for the last 2 years. And the thing that's sad is that people on all sides of this conflict are good fucking people. All sides. They're good people. And it was really, really affecting my well-being and my light. And I thought I could take it and I thought that it was making me stronger. And you know what? It has. But also, I was thinking I could take more than I actually could. And I don't know, I both kind of feel bad about that. Like, I wish I was strong enough to take this better. And also I'm like, I feel like I'm still thinking through a lot of things. I don't have everything figured out, but what I do have figured out is the direction that I want to take my channel. And I'm really excited about that. So what it is basically, I want to try to do a weekly or every other week live stream. By the way, thank you to all of my new mods. I suck at getting back to people. I will get back to you all in a little group email, and we will work out the dates. But I want to do a weekly or bi-weekly live stream that tells people's stories in Scientology, but tells like a story. Like, I was thinking of maybe calling it My Crazy Scientology Story, but then like someone comes on and tells a story of them getting recruited into Scientology's most dedicated group, not their whole life story. And I think that I very much believe in the power of bite-sized stories. I find that they're more digestible to people who are just finding out about Scientology. It gives the ability for those stories to get the attention that they deserve, those individual stories. And that way I can have people on over and over again. And also, the real reason is because I can't sit there and listen to someone's life story for 2 hours. That's my own limitation. And it's not even because I find it boring. It's because I find it extremely stressful to try to condense someone's life down to 2 hours. Some people have a wonderful ability to do that and to get other people to do it. I'm not one of those people. In fact, I don't even know if I'm one of the people who's going to be good enough at doing this. And I'm sure I'm going to look like a fool and do horrible at it at first, but I'm going to try. And I'm really excited to attain this new skill that I'm hoping to do. You know, I want to get better and better at it. I want to be good at it because it's something that I'm really interested in doing in life, that it would be great to do it on my channel just to get these little stories out and to have people feel like they have a voice without having to have like hours long commitment. So if you want to come on my channel and tell a story of yourself, you know, your crazy Scientology story, please reach out to me. You can email me at jenna@xscientologykids.com. And, you know, I don't expect this to be like longer than 1 hour videos, maybe even shorter, maybe even just 20 minutes. But I'm really excited to try that out and see where that goes. Another thing I really want to do is start going to LA either every week or every other week and do protesting where I can answer people's questions, even if it's just online, but show up there and just talk to Scientologists, think about different things I might want to say to them or ways that I might want to express myself or just different ways of protesting. I think that will possibly be fun and exciting. The idea of it makes me nervous, but a good kind of nervous. I need to push myself to do new things, because that's what makes me really excited and proud of myself. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't want to. I actually want to. The part that I'm most excited about for my channel that I really want to do is that I want to do maybe a once a month video about little campaigns that I want to do. Because like I said before, there's so many ways of addressing Scientology. There's so many things that I hear, like just alone how Scientology inserts itself into the dentistry industry and gets unsuspecting.
So you guys so far, and I had to pause this because I gotta say something. I'm engulfed in what she's saying here. And I like how she has, you know, said, hey, I'm gonna make a name for myself, because this part of being a content creator, I consider myself to be an independent journalist, is that you find your own lane. You have to do what's best for you, what works for you. There are a lot of tactics and little methods to getting your content out. Some people who are able to just do that because, you know, this might be what they do for a living. Then you have people like myself. It's a juggling act. I have a regular 9 to 5 job. I have 2 kids, a single parent, you know, and I still have to kind of balance the household and doing laundry and doing all kinds of stuff in between. Still got to go to doctor's appointments, you know, because real life is still happening here. And I like what she's saying about this channel being about her experiences, and then the direction she wants to take it on. Not necessarily just overly focused on Scientology, but maybe the experiences that people had in it, and to be able to give them a voice. And that's sort of like what the idea of doing these segments about Scientology is all about. For me, here in the Lady Luck Club, it's giving the voices to those people who, giving them a platform that went through this. Kyla, you didn't tell me they tried to, what is, okay, I'm looking at your comment. You need to come up here. You want to come up here next week and tell us about what happened? You say you had to back out of protesting because OSA came for you hard. You were fair game bad. What does that mean? Do you want to talk about that? Because that's, I mean, that speaks to how they're trying to hinder people from exercising their rights to protest and free speech. This is crazy. What is fair game? Did they dox you or something? I would love for you to come up here next week for our next Scientology segment, and you can tell us if you want to share. Tell us what happened. This is so crazy. It is terrible. What it said, I'm not afraid of them, but it affected my job. A-holes even turned my FB French. How did they do that? So they have people that hack into your Facebook account. They turned your Facebook French. Oh my God. Hack my bank cards, phones, Facebook. What the hell? Oh no. So they some criminals all over the place. You know, here's the thing when I tell people this, when it comes down to my reporting on cults, this is the epitome of cult-like behavior. This is what cults do. They go and they hack into your stuff. They try to paint this image in the worst way. You can't control millions of people all over the world that see you as a cult. At some point, Scientology is going to have to get the hell over it. They're just going to have to get the F over it. Getting mad and hacking to people's accounts and bank cards and stuff. Get over it. You have how many people on Earth? If you get 40% of all humanity on Earth to see you as a cult, there's nothing you can do to silence all these people on Earth. Hacking into people's accounts, bank cards, their phones, it's sick. And for what? For us to still see you as a cult, because now you're acting like a cult. You're living up to what a cult does. To try to silence somebody because somebody's saying something about you. So what? You know how many people come in my chat every day and they can't stand my guts? You got a whole cult that's existed for 65 longer than I have existed on Earth. This cult has been around for 65 years and they still can't get used to people calling them a cult. They can't get used to the things that people say about them. They still can't get over it. 65 years. And they still get mad because words hurt their feelings. You can't make this up. It goes with the territory. You know how many times people get ridiculed for being Christian? You don't expect Christians to be going around hacking into people's phones and their bank cards because somebody said something about Christianity. There are a lot of things that get said about Christianity I don't like. I'm not going to hack into somebody's Facebook account for it either. It's childish as hell. And it lives up to this cultish, persona. Get over it. Someone said something bad. You don't like it. Whatever. It could be the truth. Hacking into people's lives does not change the overall aspect of how people view you. People are still going to come out and say that you're a cult, that you're an evil cult that hack into people's lives, kidnap people, and hold them hostage. And they've been at this for 65 long, damn, dumb years. And they still get mad because someone's calling them a cult. They should be like wearing it as a badge of honor at this point. Ron Hubbard called himself the Antichrist. You can't make this up. Don't get mad when someone says that you're going to hell. If he's calling himself the Antichrist, he's saying he's a spawn of Satan. Unless they just refuse to look up what the Antichrist really is. People don't have to accept whatever Scientology is putting out there to be the truth. Everybody's not going to agree with it. But they're going to have to get used to criticism. 65 years and they can't get used to criticism. Go figure. They still find it horrible to protest. If we let them take over, they're going to bring segregation and racism to life single-handedly. Beyond what is already there. I mean, come on. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So we're going to have Kyla in next week, y'all, telling us about her experiences. If you, listen, hacking into your bank cards, your phone, Facebook, your job. I mean, I don't know how that's not, is that what you consider fair game? Child, that's not fair game at all. That's not fair game at all. That's just them being evil. That is so evil. Let me hack into your life because we don't like what you're saying about us. Y'all been around for 65 years. Kyla isn't the first person to say what she said about Scientology. You got one person saying the same thing millions of others have said already. Get over it. Like, it's so crazy. That's so crazy. Oh my God, y'all, this is something else. That's what all the exes are trying to do, but they are still there. People at the top propagate Scientology, know it's not a valid belief, but they will keep going because the people at the top are making money. And you know what's so crazy? They got $3 billion at their disposal. It's just greed at this point. $3 billion. It's just greed at this point. But they realize they don't. Do they not understand that even with all the people that are speaking out and protesting, they're still bringing in money? They avoid paying taxes. They get to keep a lot of the money that they earn and generate in revenue. They don't pay their workers fair, wages or anything. And yet government's doing nothing about them. So it's a whole lot they're still getting away with. And yet they get mad when someone criticizes them. Despite the fact that they get away with not paying a dime in taxes, that they're paying people slave wages, that they're kidnapping people, they're unaliving people, that they're hacking into people's accounts and cars and phones and Facebooks. They're doing all this shit that they're doing. And they still want to sit here and go after somebody for criticizing them. Never mind all the laws being broken, impersonating military, the ribbons and the uniforms and all of that. Pam Bondi is speaking at their events. She got to go. I don't know why the hell is she there. Nobody should be in agreement with Pam Bondi being in her position. At this point, no, she need to get the hell on. You can't make this up. You don't even need to be political to see that she's just a bad person. This is crazy. I'm just never in. I'm just a protester. Imagine what the exes go through. I can imagine. Yes, she did. Scam Bundy. Yeah. So next week we're gonna have Kyla up here. She's gonna tell us why these folks feel like it's okay to hack into her whole life. And whatever else you want to share, share it. There are people. That's what Jenna and Miscavige is saying here. You come out of this. We want people to come out of this because they're real people, real human beings in this cult. And they're having their lives uprooted because they want to come out of the cult. They're going through far worse trying to get out than what they're going through in it, which is horrible. Because this stupid cult doesn't know how to just let people go. They got $3 billion at their disposal. And they have a hard time accepting rejection. You can't make this up. Who child? You cannot make this up. Hey, Black Anonymous. Yeah, Ron Hubbard said he's the Antichrist. Oh, so you're the spawn of Satan. Is what you're saying. David Miscavige got an anger problem in the Napoleon complex. And I'm just like, why don't you just take up the mantle and call yourself the Antichrist? That's what your uncle did. That's what the first leader did. You got to act evil. At least own it. Don't get bad when people call you evil when your first leader said he was the Antichrist. Make it make sense? Y'all, this is crazy. Oh my God. Black Anonymous said, I even read the book by L. Ron Hubbard. After I finished the book, I was like, huh? Yeah, I'm still wondering what's the name of that volcano that this Xenu landed in to make these Thetans. Weird alien creatures and eggshells. You can't make this up. This is so crazy. They know they're pumping some nonsense, and yet they get mad at people criticizing them. Imagine, go figure. A cult that's upset that people are criticizing them. And they want to hack into your life because you said something. We don't owe you shit, Scientology. No one owes you anything. You don't pay taxes. You would think they would just keep moving, kick the can down the road and get the hell on. You're getting away with kidnapping people. You're not prosecuted like you should be. You're forcing people to have abortions. And yet and still, you want to get mad because someone's pointing these things out. It's just ridiculous. Now you gotta hack into somebody's life. They act like the cult that people see them as. And then they get mad when people call them out on their bullshit. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Kyla's gonna come up next week, y'all. Tell us for Scientology Sunday why this horrible cult should continue to be protested against. And Jenna, this is what she's doing. She's saying that it got to a point where it was a lot on her, and she had to take a break from it. And that's a very real response. Sometimes, even just with making content on YouTube, sometimes you got to take a break. I have to do the juggling act. I have to work during the week. I'm still a mom and all these things. And yet I still have to do the balancing act with doing content here on YouTube. YouTube, you go far too long and be absent, they will push your videos down at the bottom of the algorithm. Of course, you could lose subs because people got ADHD sometimes and they just like, okay, you ain't said nothing in 2-3 days. It is what it is. You can't take like a week off or anything and people don't know what's going on. And people are genuine concerned. But YouTube will not even push your content out there. So you got to stay consistent with the content. And sometimes that can be a lot to have to juggle. And Jen is saying, listen, I had to take a break. It is what it is. It's part of life. She's a mom. She's got a life. She's got family. And she's went through some horrible things with this cult. And I'm glad that she's allowing other people to tell their story as well. And I want to be able to give my platform to those who have gone through that. I would love to interview Jenna Miscavige. Bring on, we got Kyla coming up next week. She's going to tell us what she's been through trying to protest this. This is going to be awesome, man. Because the more light that's been shined on this cult, the more power you take away from it. Because that's what they're all about. Maintaining power and control over people. Here's the thing. When people get sick of it, they're going to get sick of it. Scientology was not around since the dawn of mankind. It's only been around for 65 years. It can also be, kicked out of existence as well. They want to sit here and then do cultish things, then they should brace themselves for the backlash of it. At some point, the feds will have to kick in and do something. But it just doesn't seem like they're really trying right now, especially when Pam Bondi is making appearances at events. Can't make this up. So you can imagine the bias of someone trying to report what's going on in this cult. And then Pam Bondi, it's like, I got dinner with them next week at 6:00. I'm not doing it. Like, this is crazy. It's disturbing to hear that. So let's finish this up, get back to this. And next week, we're going to have Kyla on. Yeah, they hacked into her credit cards and stuff, her Facebook. Like, what? And her phone. Woo, child.
Unknowing employees and starts kind of forcing them to do Scientology under the guise of some other name that they pretend is secular. That's like a huge thing that can be exposed on its own and even fought against. Like, having letters that can be written to the employers, having letters that can be written to the employees that help let them know their rights, that maybe connect them with other people who have wound up suing the employers who are forcing them to do Scientology things, finding a list of all of these dentist offices, etc. That's just one avenue. There's acting classes that do this. There's getting Foundation for a Drug-Free World into schools. So these are all different campaigns that I want to take on, but it's so hard to know which one to do first. And I want to take them on in a way that actually does something about it, that leaves an evergreen solution there so that if anyone ever runs into this problem, they will find this solution. This solution is out there and we can use it over and over again. And there's so many other things just like this. Like, people who are trying to sue Scientology, they run into Scientology's arbitration policy. Well, why not have a campaign where we can create legislation specifically regarding Scientology's arbitration clause and how unconscionable it is? Why not have a campaign that just does that alone instead of fighting Scientology 10 times in a court of law to get this overruled? That's just an idea that could wind up being a horrible idea, but there's so many campaigns like that.
Yeah, she's right. They're just like with the way they're acquiring all these properties through these LLCs. Well, Florida is going to have to create some state legislation on a state level That would have to apply across the entire state of Florida when it comes to how you purchase property, through these various LLCs to make it more transparent. And if you can't submit certain documentation, you can't, disclose information about the owners and all this other stuff, then you don't buy the property. It's that simple. Because see, guess what? To the state of Florida, Scientology isn't paying taxes. They're not adding to your economy either way. You concerned about somebody not being able to buy a building? What difference does it make when they don't pay property taxes? That purchase of that property or that building might not always fall into the hands of the government of Florida, the state of Florida, or even in Clearwater. So it really doesn't even benefit overall the economies of the city of Clearwater or in the state of Florida. So what she's saying is on point. There needs to be a lot of legislation put in place. Funny how they know not to recruit people who are physically or mentally disabled or have mental health conditions because they know they'll get in trouble for it. And then they don't find people with disabilities to be useful. Well, what if there's a way for them to look at any other group as not being useful, so they'll leave them alone? Instead of having certain targets, find a way to invalidate it so that they don't make certain groups of people a target anymore. I would rather they not mess with people who have physical disabilities. It's a horrible way how they view them, but it at least keeps them off their radar. Because I would be, I guess all of us would be livid if we saw someone that was physically disabled in Scientology being told they got to do something for 100 hours a week, and then they only get paid $40 some for the whole week. I would rather they just not even bother with anybody with a physical disability. Just leave them alone. But how do you get them to leave everybody else alone? What does it take? What needs to happen for them to leave other groups of people alone? Bit by bit, there has to be a way to get more people off their radar so that they will leave them alone and not even think about recruiting them. That way, many people can be saved from this cult. All right, do we all have to walk around and say we have a physical disability? Like, does burping count? If I say I burp a lot, is that a physical disability? What would count? We got to come up with something. We got to make sure that people find ways to avoid being kidnapped and drafted into this dumb cult. Say you have a lot of gas, right? And you just start farting. You start burping real heavy and it just all stinks. You can imagine they probably wouldn't want you near them. Whatever you need to do to stay out of this cult, do it. If eating rice and beans and tooting all over the place is the way to go, do what you got to do. If eating ice cream gives you the bubble guts, eat the damn ice cream so you can get the bubble guts. At some point, they're going to be like, oh, this is a condition you have? Yes. It's called shit a lot. Like, it's a real thing. Whatever it takes to get them off your radar.
That I want to start doing. I want to start making a real difference. I don't only want to expose. I want to expose, but I also want to do something about it. The more little campaigns there are like this, the more angles Scientology is being taken from, these things add up. They may seem like nothing at the time, but they add up. And after a year, after 12 of these little programs, even if there's just 6, after year and year and year, they're all going to add up and they're all going to make a huge difference in the long run. You know, another thing I mentioned in the past that I've always wanted to do is start a foundation for people who were born and raised in Scientology and whose family members are still in and who hear from nobody on their birthday or on Christmas, you know, just like a
tell information, man. I will be over there when I'm done with my live over here. It'll probably be another 30 minutes for me, but I will hop on as soon as I am done over here. Black Anonymous, shout out to you. Thank you for letting me know that as well. I'm going to be late, but let him know I'm coming. All right. He can start without me. It's cool because I get it. But I want to finish up over here and then I'll hop over there when I'm done. So shout out to y'all. And when y'all can, if y'all can check out the live stream with Information Man Show. I will be a guest over there. Please do that and show him some support as well. Let's get back to it.
Foundation or a campaign to send them cookies on their birthday. That's just another thing I want to do, that I get so distracted in the weeds of everything that I never can do them. And so my goal is to take these things one at a time and accomplish them. And they're all important, and they're all great ideas. I just want to actually start doing them now instead of talking about them. I've been a little bit shy and reserved about being on YouTube or social media in the past. And a lot of that has actually been because of sort of psychological programming that I've had to overcome because of Scientology. It is my innate personality to want to talk about these things and to be confident and to communicate about them. I've had to overcome the sort of shit that I've been put through every time I spoke up in Scientology. And even lately, one of the things I've had to overcome is when I say, hi, I'm Jenna Miscavige, my uncle is the leader of Scientology, and I escaped when I was 22, people saying like, oh, you think you're better because your uncle's a leader of Scientology? And just realizing how psychotic that is. Because I'm literally like, hi, my uncle's Charles Manson, and I escaped when I was like, any insinuation that that's a flex or a brag or anything like that actually says more about the person who thinks that you're bragging than it does about you. And maybe it's because in Scientology that would have been a brag that I still felt like a little bit queasy about it, but it's been really freeing to get over it and put myself out there in these little bite-sized portions in TikTok. And it's been really, really cool. And you know what the thing is about TikTok and Instagram? They all have their own separate audiences, completely different people. And on YouTube, we tend to think here that everybody knows all about Scientology. Everybody knows the lingo. Not true. Not even close to true. It's amazing how little people know and how much you can tell them with it being something totally new. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, the amount of people that I reach on TikTok and Instagram is a lot more than even the most high-level people, the biggest channels about Scientology reach here on YouTube. And the amount of views alone are literally like 10 times the amount. So I guess at first, like I was like, oh, TikTok, that's for children. But it's not true. It reaches so many people, and it's been amazing. So it's such an important campaign, and it's a huge part of what I'm doing. And it's really boosted my confidence. Over the past 2 years, many people, and even myself, I've said, oh, I'm shy and I'm quiet. What I've realized is that I don't actually lack too much confidence. On some level, not having to fight for attention and not having to, I don't know, have my voice be the loudest one out there is actually a sign of confidence. I'm okay with myself just how I am. I don't need to fight for attention in order to have self-worth. But, having a certain number of subscribers or great comments or, supporters or community, does all that help my self-worth? Yes, I'm a human. It feels great. But is it enough where it's going to make me do something outside of my integrity in order to facilitate that? Fuck no. That's the flat out answer. Like, that's where it gets to the point where people have said about me, oh, she'll burn it all to the ground. She doesn't care about her community. She doesn't care about this work. Well, that's really just like a tricky way of saying, like, if I have to choose between my integrity and how much people online like me, bye, goodbye. Because in the end, your self-worth comes from what you think about yourself.
That's right.
And if I'm going to do something that I can't live with myself for doing, I will always know that. But if I do the right thing and I know that people might hate me for that or people will misconstrue it, whatever, that's hard. It's really hard to feel misunderstood. But in the end, I can live with it more than I can live with knowing that I'm a bad person or a bad friend or something like that. But part of building your confidence is actually doing the things you want to do and overcoming your fears. And that's what I'm really looking forward to doing. So I hope you guys look forward to me looking like a moron quite often, saying the wrong thing and messing up, because looking dumb is the price you pay for sort of putting yourself out there and having a lot of...
Jenna, you don't look dumb, honey. I thought it was badass for you to put that thumbnail up with that middle finger in there. I was like, y'all, this is a badass thumbnail. I loved it. I use it as a thumbnail myself. Because you should never feel like you're going to look like a dumbass. If I have to worry about that every time I go live, then I will never go live. Sometimes I mispronounce words and say things and slip up and stuff, and it doesn't make any sense. But it happens. You push through it and you keep living. Your true supporters, people who support the information, your commentary, to support you, they're not going to judge you on that. Not at all. a lot of people do not support me because they don't like the profanity. It is what it is. Everybody's different. Some people pray before they start their live stream. And I watch those content creators that do that. Have no problems with that. Think it's a beautiful thing. We might not all do the same thing, but we understand what's right is right and wrong is wrong. And your delivery and the way you go about doing it is what's unique to you. So I'd rather she do her content and share her story, put people on her platform that's going to share their story, because the ultimate goal is to remind this dumbass cult they have no power in the United States of America. They shouldn't have the power that they think they have. People should not have to worry about coming up missing or having things hacked. Because somebody said criticized Scientology. Like, are you kidding me? They rule by fear. They want to make an example out of somebody because they think this is a deterrence from others speaking out. It's not. It doesn't stop anything. Is it cut off one head, 6 more come back in this place? You think you're silencing one person, 10 more people going to come out and support that one person. You've hacked into their Facebook account. And then 10 more people are going to come out and speak out on it. They're not smart enough to realize they're bringing more attention on themselves when they go out and do stuff like that. So hopefully we can take a page from Germany and take away their tax exempt status. Oh man, who knew? Germany is showing us how it's done. Here's how you handle a cult. If they want to sit here and claim to be a church, take away the tax exempt status. They'll go away. You can't make this up. Can you imagine if the U.S. took away their tax exempt status in Scientology? I mean, honestly, that's the best way to go. You hit them in the pockets. They got $3 billion. $3 billion at their disposal. Take away the tax exempt status and then let them really pout about it. When I say it'll weaken them like hell, they'll feel so defeated. But there you go, point proven. Cults like this, all they care about is money and power and authority. Let's tackle the money thing. Take away their tax exempt status. They don't add to our economy. Why should we be okay with them not adding to our economy? But yet they want to sell books and all this other stuff and bring in money and revenue from people. But they can't add back to our economy on their own. They can't pay taxes. Get the hell out of here. Then you should not be allowed to flourish financially. Not when you're talking about people being kidnapped and all this other nonsense. Churches should be taxed anyway. And this is coming from somebody that is a Christian. Churches should be taxed. That's just my opinion on it. All churches should be paying taxes, period.
Hate also is. And so I guess I will be having more of that. But that's okay. It's worth it to me. It's worth it. It's worth it to me. I'm not only looking forward to doing these campaigns about Scientology, but also my own personal healing campaign that I hope we all can benefit from in some way. I hope that what I'm learning helps to benefit other people, and what other people share in the comments can help to benefit me. I have a lot of opportunities that I have been too busy to take over the last several months, whether it's documentaries, it's going on podcasts. So many people who I literally have completely ghosted that I've started getting back in touch with, and some things are in the works. One of those things that I'm crazy excited about is talking to Tim Fletcher again in the next few months. I just found him to be amazingly helpful, and I can't wait to revisit it again after many months. I know a lot of you guys liked him, and so I'm really looking forward to that. But I just wanted to comment on how the willingness to look inside yourself and to see where you might be doing something wrong, where you might be failing, takes a lot of bravery. It takes a lot of bravery. It takes a lot more bravery than blaming other people. It's hard and it's easier to just protect your ego. But the truth is that it doesn't make you bad or wrong to look at your actions and to see where you're fucking up and to try to correct them. It's actually amazingly brave. And I see people who I care about very much with friends around them kind of telling them that, and I'm talking about people who are actively hurting themselves, and who are hurting people who they love,
Mm.
and do this repeatedly over and over again. And they have friends telling them that they're right and they're doing the right thing and this is correct and this is great. And that's not your friend. It's not your friend. If someone cares about you, I don't mean to sit there and say that they're going to be randomly, carpingly criticizing you, but when someone is your friend and someone loves you, they're going to see the most beautiful things about you, and they're going to love you for them. And they're going to see that those beautiful things also have a downside. The most beautiful, wonderful things about someone are also have a downside that are the worst things about them. Your strength is also your weakness. And somebody who's your friend sees both of those things and loves you anyways, but does not sit there and tell you that the darkness doesn't exist. People who sit there and watch someone self-destruct and ruin everything that they care about and defend you and call it loyalty, that's just somebody who's looking for a loyalty payout from you someday. And that loyalty payout is never going to come. Okay, guys, well, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about and update about. And those are sort of my plans for the next few months. So I do want to jump on a live stream soon, and I will see you when I do that. But once again, I just want to thank everyone for your kindness, support, all the calls I've received from so many people who are willing to open up to me and people who support me. It genuinely means the world. And I just wanted to let everyone know that while I have ups and downs, I'm coming out of the other end of all of this. I'm doing okay. So thank you. Thank you for checking, and thank you for being here. And hopefully you continue to be here to see what I have for the future. Okay, I'm really awkward about highs and goodbyes. So peace out.
So many famous people have been involved.
I love it, y'all. This was awesome. So next week on Scientology Sunday, all right, we're gonna have Kyla up with us. She sent us 3 videos to look at for interviews, people who were in Scientology, doing interviews and speaking out, talking about the mental health and why that matters. Y'all, this is something else. So we're gonna check that out. We're gonna have Kyla with us. And you guys can see the next video I had lined up is this from Oompaville, the terrifying cult of Scientology. He kind of did what Tommy G did, where he goes down to, Clearwater. He goes to the building, he's boots on the ground, he does his reporting like that. Shout out to Oompaville. So we're gonna check that out next week, along with talking with Kyla and watching the 3 videos she sent and trying to show you all how horrible this is. So we had a great live stream today. We got to get some information in from Jenna, from a former Scientologist member who was very candid about his experience and answered some questions. And you guys, this has been hopefully informative. Talked about we had Liza video we showed, Liz Gale, I'm sorry, not Liza, Liz Gale's video, and then of course Via Suck. This is kind of like a quick overview. It was funny. It was animated with some dinosaurs and stuff. And Liz Gale has her channel. She has where she talks about her experiences as a former Scientologist member. So there's so many out there that I'm constantly learning about through you all sending me links and emails that are worth listening to, because they all have, different experiences, and they, I'm so glad that they're talking about this to help get more people out of this cult and help them cope with what's going on around them, and then, just aiding in the fight to keep this from being something that takes over our country, because who wants to deal with this? This is crazy. So Kyla's going to be with us next week, talking about her experiences as a protester and what she's gone through. And then we got more content to check out. I want to thank you all so much for your support. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button to share this content. Please, gentlemen, Scavenge, check your Instagram, because I sent you a comment over there. I would love to have Gentleman Scavenge here in the LLC to talk to us about her experience. And of course, her being the niece of David Miscavige. Look, She went through a lot. And so her story being shared is just as important as everyone else. So I would love to have her on. Hopefully she does get to the Instagram messages. But at some point, until that happens, we're going to continue to talk about this. We're going to continue to put this information forward. All right, so I have a few minutes. I got to get to the next live stream with Information Man Show. I've dropped his YouTube channel link in the chat for you guys if you want to tune in. I'm going to be going in over there late. So we'll do a separate live stream. I know Jay Witt did a video on debunking the grooming thing with Erica Kirk. From what Candace is putting out here, telling people lie like hell, because that's what she does, right? So we'll do a separate live on that. That way I can just focus on that video and then pull up other information about grooming and all of that and give some sort of, background info on that in a separate live. Hopefully I want to do it today after the Information Man Show live stream. So either way, look out for the announcements. Look out for those lives. I'm about to set up and hop over to Information Man Show in a few minutes. And I will see you guys over there. Hit the like button on the way out. Leave your comments below and let me know what you think. Feel free to email me some information, other interviews that former members have who have gotten out, what they've shared. And we will check it out here. And hit up Scientology Sunday next week. Kyla will be with us. Y'all, thank y'all so much. And until then, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.